In Tallahassee, they play their game. Scumbag politicals, they're all the same. From Miami Heat to Tampa skies, the truth is hidden behind their lies. Florida's close, we're taking control. This unsanctioned show, we're on a roll. Unsanctioned Florida, we'll bring the heat. Spotlight on the scumbags, can't accept defeat. From the coast to the swamp, we'll make it clear. A sunshine shines state, we're spreading the fear. Unsanctioned Florida, we'll bring the heat. Stop the crows, shine the scumbag, can't accept defeat. In the sunshine state, we're spreading the fear, the fear. Red and blue, they try to divide, but we'll expose the truth, we won't hide. Corruption runs deep, it's like a crime wave. On this podcast, we'll be brave. Echoes of the truth, let it ring. Politicians bail, but we're the real thing. Unsanctioned Florida will bring the heat. Spotlight on the scumbags, can't accept defeat. From the coast to the swamp, we'll make it clear. In the sunshine state, we're spreading the fear. So tune in, now we've got work to do. Exposing the truth, bringing it to you. Bringing it to you.
In the heart of the night, he rules the scene. Sheriff in sunglasses, keeping it clean. With secrets untold and a smile so bright, he boogies through shadows, dancing till light. Swinging to the rhythm under neon glow. Swinging sheriff, living by night. Party on the runs, always out of sight. Secrets in the dark, glittering like stars. In the boogie wonderland, behind the bars. Exclusive shine gigs, where the pretty ones play. He moves like a legend, they all wanna sway. But behind his cool, there's a past full of pain. The swinging sheriff, it's all part of the game. He'll never tell, keeping it tight. Swinging sheriff, living by night. Party on the runs, always out of sight. Secrets in the dark, glittering like stars. In the boogie wonderland, behind the bars. So if you're looking for thrills, take a chance. Join the swinging sheriff, let's dance.
Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, Mr. Singh came here illegally from India in 2018, was allowed to stay based on credible fear, an asylum claim, and then sanctuary policies in California. He was able to get a CDL license. What more can you tell us about him, and where is he now?
Well, he's in California. We are working with the federal government to extradite him back to Florida. He will face incredibly severe charges here, and then he will be deported. But I will tell you that where was the role of the company in all of this? I don't think this guy spoke English. He clearly didn't know what he was doing behind the wheel. And yes, you shouldn't be giving illegals driver's license. We don't allow that in Florida. California does. They've issued probably over 1 million licenses to illegals in recent years. But to have somebody like that on our roadways, putting people in jeopardy, yes, criminally prosecute him, the illegal, 100%. But I think it's got to go beyond that. And I think we got to get tougher on this nationally. You know, one of the frustrations we've had in Florida, we don't recognize illegal alien driver's license from any other state. We don't issue them from our state. We don't recognize any ID cards issued by local governments, NGOs, you name it. We've tried to create an environment that makes it inhospitable for people to want to come illegally and come to Florida. California's done the opposite. They're inviting people to come to this country illegally. They'll pay for your health care. You get in-state tuition. You get all these benefits, some of which American citizens don't even get. But ultimately, I think you're going to need the Congress to use the power of the purse and defund states like California that are sanctuary states and their similar cities, because we're trying to do the right thing, and yet we have to bear the costs from their misguided policy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Governor there with old horsehead John, and yeah, it's a shame what happened with this guy. This guy killed 3 people. He looked completely unaffected, like he could care less. It looked like he had stubbed his toe. Yeah, it meant nothing to him. It's a damn shame. I'm wondering how the hell he didn't get arrested on the scene, go to jail, how he ended up in California. We have to try and extradite him back.
I think that they should hold the company. I think the one thing that he said that for me is astounding is the company. The company should be held responsible. These should be gigantic settlements for the families that should break this company. And it will teach a lesson to every company out there. If an illegal alien does something under the banner of your company, that you are done doing business in the United States. You might as well become an illegal in their country, because here you will not survive. And that's the way this thing should be treated. The fact that this person was not arrested, I don't understand that either. I mean, was there bail involved? I don't know. It makes no sense. I am heartbroken for this family. It's just the most grotesque thing ever. And to see him just it meant nothing to him. No. He didn't try to help. He didn't do, from what I saw in the videos, he just stood there like looking like nothing, nothing.
He looked more concerned for himself than anybody else. And it's just a damn shame.
Maybe he should have pretended that family were holy cows in India. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this just absolutely kills me. It pisses me off. And here's the thing. I like Sikhs. This guy was a Sikh, obviously. I like Sikhs. I think that they're great people. It's a great community. But at the same time, this is something that is just without question a barbarity that California has allowed. And California should also pay the price. The families, the estate of these people should be allowed to sue.
That's what I was just about. Should sue California because they're the ones who gave him a CDL and
a license.
Yeah, I mean, he was illegal.
Yeah. I mean, not only illegal, what kind of CDL course do you have to take in California to pass? Drive a truck, try to do a U-turn on an interstate with people driving 70 miles an hour. It's absurd. The entire thing is just such a tragedy that could have been avoided.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's really horrendous. I mean,
Yeah.
I just
and that
it
first
is heartbreaking.
video that we showed, that was the swinging sheriff, and we do have the swinging sheriff in the news tonight. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, so it is absolutely a part of the show. There's a reason. If you don't know who that sheriff is, just Google him. You'll see. You'll learn for yourself.
Very
Welcome
simple
to another
search.
episode.
You put in the swinging sheriff. You simple Google search, swinging sheriff, Broward County, and that's it. You're good as gold. You'll find it all.
I mean, you might get them just with swinging sheriff. I mean, there's a lot out there. So welcome to another episode of Unsanctioned Florida. I am former school board member John Arguello. This is my great friend over here, citizen Tom Lord. And we are here with episode 120 of Unsanctioned Florida, August 20th, 2025. Let me read you the headlines that we're going to go through. It's a big show.
Yeah.
So buckle up because there's a lot to talk about. DeSantis does not surprise with his Lieutenant Governor pick. Albritton picks a successor for the presidency of the Senate. Deportation Depot opens up to increase immigration policy efficiency. Uthmeier tackles 7OH drug problem. Messy dispute in Brevard. Speaking of the swinging sheriff. Delray Beach still holding on to pride. Jacksonville begging for perks as they close programs for residents.
They got big
Is corn
problems
coming
up there.
back to schools in Florida? Yeah, this might be an even bigger problem.
Yeah.
Corn's coming back to schools after a certain ruling by a judge. Controversial Lake County Appraiser seeks more money as Lake County REC implodes. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. This is going to be a segment. We're talking about Lake County. We're going to talk about the Lake County REC, which essentially was battering its members when they tried to get into a meeting. We're going to talk about that in depth, but also what the status of the RPOF is at this point and other things. So stay tuned for that one. Apopka Mayor looking for excuses as he's raising the money on raising fees for citizens. Wolf guarding sheep says that herd needs to be culled for its own good. In other words, CFX talks traffic. Osceola Sheriff going through Lopez's dirty laundry. And another Mayor Ego story. He says too many people are blocking his son. Mayor Ego cannot handle breathing his air. That and more on this episode of Unsanctioned Florida. Let's get started. We're going to do a quick prayer and get right to the show. Lord, we are truly grateful to live in this great state, the free state of Florida. We know that there's no other state like this state, but there is so much room to grow in terms of our patriotism, in terms of our morality, in terms of our decency with elected officials, in terms of their honesty and transparency. We have just a long way to go. We are not perfect. We're not even at 50%. We see these elected leaders behave in a way that does not represent the will of the people of Florida. And we pray that the people of Florida will continue to stand up and fight to ensure that the electeds of this state start to resemble the citizens that they represent and to obey the will of the American family, the American Floridian family. In your son's name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. All right, let's get into it, John.
Tom. Let's get started.
All right, let's get into the smoke, John. And forgive the way I sound if I sound a little bit more congested. Yes, I'm getting over a cold. I feel 100 times better than I did yesterday or the day before that, though. I'll say that. We need to talk about
everybody, right? Everybody's getting sick.
Well, I hope not. I hope that everybody is getting better and they're not going to be sick. And we lost John for a second there. I think he's back, though. Are you back, John? All right. So
I mean, I still have the tickle in my throat.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you get over it. So we need to talk about this. A lot of this happened while we weren't on the air, and we're going to talk about it. We did lose John. He's coming back, though. He should be back in a minute. We did gain a new lieutenant governor, and now we're learning that we have a Senate president designate, which means that Albritton has picked his successor. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. First up, it's Jay Collins. And Jay Collins was appointed as the lieutenant governor of Florida now. And he is a retired U.S. Army Green Beret, current state senator. Now he's the lieutenant governor. But a good guy. I can't really find much fault with him personally, except for the fact that I believe that Jay Collins is probably the DeSantis pick for the next governor of Florida. I believe personally, and you talk about this, John, too. I believe that he is who the DeSantis team wants to succeed DeSantis. I think at this point, Casey is not even a thought as far as that goes. I think it's all the way with Jay Collins. So we had John back and we lost him again. But anyway, let me go ahead and play this for you, and we'll get back to John about Jay Collins. This next one is Jim Boyd. This is the guy that Albritton has named president of the Senate designate and they're going to vote on this, I guess, at the upcoming caucus. Jim Boyd. So let me show you what you find on a simple X search about Jim Boyd. Here it is. All right. Jim Boyd, Senate president for 2027, 2028. Who is Boyd? He's a Republican who bust anti-gunners. Yep, there you go. What else we got here? John, you back?
Hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. All right, so
Yeah.
we're going to get back to
good.
talking about Jay Collins, but I brought up Jim Boyd. This is a simple search on X about Jim Boyd. And here you go. He's a Republican who bust anti-gunners to the Capitol and voted for the Parkland gun control bill in 2018. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Welcome to Florida's newest class of law enforcement officers. No, that was his post, by the way. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah, that's another one of his posts. Gun rights. And this seems to be a recurring theme when you put in a search for Jim Boyd. Liberal Senate President Senator Albritton is nominating red flag supporting Jim Boyd for Senate President. And there's another one from gun rights. What else we got? So it seems to be when you do a simple X search that a lot of gun rights people are not happy with Jim Boyd. John, you there? John. All right. So John. All right, so I'm going to try to get John back. He disappeared again. It seems like his internet connection is very, very weak right now. Unfortunately. But anyway, that is the impression. And talking to many people that I know, I can tell you that, Yeah, I don't see you, and I know you don't hear me, but I think your internet connection is really bad. Look at your internet connection. It's coming up really bad on my end. So, yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you, Cindy. That's how it looks. It looks like they're putting in place people. Looks like back. John, do you hear me? I can see you, but you obviously can't hear me. Play with your. All right. So, yeah, it does look that way. I know that many people that I've talked to are not happy with Jim Boyd, and you're going to have a Jim Boyd and Daniel Perez, and these are the people going to be running the Florida House. We're in big trouble, guys. You know, if we're going to expect anything that we're looking for in this next upcoming session, and look, we didn't get anything we wanted in this last session. You look at what happened. We didn't get anything we wanted. A lot of the things that we truly wanted here in Florida, we didn't get. And you continue on with these rhinos and fake Republicans, you're not going to get the things that we truly want here in Florida. When the governor talks about property taxes and stuff like that, don't expect that when we get somebody like Jim Boyd and we continue to have Daniel Perez running things. It's just not going to happen. Yep, we couldn't even get a budget passed on time. That's true. That's true. I don't know. John is there, but we can't see him. Or he can't hear me, obviously. And I don't think he's hearing anything. All right. So maybe we will come back to that. Let me go to our next story. That way we can kind of work on this while you guys see what's going on here. And we'll come back to this. So anyway, Governor DeSantis, he's not going to be fine with just Alligator Alcatraz. It's not enough. He's opening up the Deportation Depot.
First up here at 6, the governor is expanding efforts to round up those living in our state illegally. Today, he announced plans to open a second temporary detention center, a little bit smaller and less expensive than Alligator Alcatraz, but it will basically serve the same purpose. He's calling this one Deportation Depot, and it's located at Baker Correctional Institution in North Florida. Let's bring in Fox 13's Evan Axelbank, who's in our newsroom with the very latest on this. Evan, tell us more.
Well, Mark, this is an appealing site for the governor because it's already been built and has been vacant for 4 years. It's also near an airstrip in Lake City, which the governor says is a key feature in being able to deport people quickly.
Governor DeSantis has known from the beginning of the second Trump term that catching illegals is easier than deporting them.
The one thing that DHS kept telling us is, you know, you're apprehending illegal aliens faster than we can hold, process, and deport them.
He's calling his latest solution Deportation Depot, a play off the highly publicized Alligator Alcatraz, which has been ripped by activists and environmentalists, but applauded by the president, as intended to serve as a final stop for those who have final deportation orders.
This will be operational soon. It's not going to take forever, but we're also not rushing to do it right this day.
West of Jacksonville, the new holding facility for 1,300 will be in the currently vacant Baker Correctional Institute, a prison that the state vacated in 2021 over lack of staff. Unlike Alligator Alcatraz, the state won't need to build tents or truck out sewage. While Alligator Alcatraz has an airstrip on site, Baker is a 20-minute ride to the nearest airport.
We have done more on this than any other state by a country mile.
He's opening this as Alligator Alcatraz faces a lawsuit from environmentalists who have convinced a judge to block new construction at the South Florida airstrip. He promises conditions here will mirror that of Alligator Alcatraz, which he says exceed federal standards. That doesn't encourage a lawyer for one of the detainees who was kept there.
Alligator Alcatraz has much to be desired. They were supposed to hold people there that had final orders of deportation, and it's quite the opposite.
There is no date yet as to when this new facility will open, but it appears the state is now focused on this site as opposed to Camp Blanding, which the governor had discussed for weeks. Now, the governor does expect lawsuits over this facility, though it's unclear as to what activists might be considering at this point, Mark.
All right, we know you will keep following it for us. Evan, thanks much.
All right. So, yes, we're still having a few problems with John getting on here. But yes, it's a good thing that we see this, because we do have these activist judges who are actively trying to block the agenda of the governor here when it pertains to illegal immigration. It's sickening that we continue to see these judges do these things. John, are you back?
I don't know. Am I?
You are, yeah. As long as you hear me, then that's good.
All right, cool.
All right.
I can hear you good.
All right. So, I was just saying about this Deportation Depot.
It was about to be a really short show if I couldn't talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even though we have a ton of stuff to talk about here. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the Deportation Depot and this activist judge shutting down Alligator Alcatraz?
Well, I think the Alligator Alcatraz thing is absolutely crazy. We talked about it a couple of shows ago. It's already an airport. You know, how much less usage and environmental impact can it cause hosting a few hundred illegal aliens there, as opposed to it being an actual operating airport, right? So an operating airport is far more damaging to the environment, I would imagine, than a whole bunch of people essentially camping there. And in this situation, I mean, it's a great idea. He's right. I heard one of the things that as I was going in and out was I heard this say that we're doing more in Florida than any other state. Well, yeah, we are doing more than any other state, and it's fantastic. I wish we were treating and I don't know if you guys can hear me. I don't know if I'm frozen or not, but I wish.
Yeah, no doubt. Couldn't agree more. And yes, we did hear you on all of that, John, although you did pop back out again. I think it has something to do with your internet connection. It looks pretty weak. Yep, and John completely dropped out again. I apologize, guys. This is the kind of internet service you get in Kissimmee. Hopefully, Cynthia Trout, you get better. True. Hopefully you get better internet service at your house than John is getting at his. So,
yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I said, and I think it's the most important, I don't know, before we freeze and I go out again, was that I wish that Florida would be treating every problem the way that it's treating the immigration problem. And
and there he goes again. I don't know. This is the internet service you get in the city of Kissimmee. Definitely needs to step it up. I don't know who his service provider is. And here in St. Cloud, we're always complaining. All right, there he is again. John, who is your internet service
who knows
provider?
What's going on? Actually, I'm on a T-Mobile internet right now, and it's not great, clearly.
Yeah, no.
Either that or, I don't know. We have a certain illegal sex trade supporting lobbyist out there, or that gay activist consultant out there, running interference. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they got some kind of internet blocker going on outside your house. They know we're doing the show tonight, so put it out there, and yeah, there you go. While you're there, John, what are your thoughts on Jay Collins and Jim Boyd?
I don't know if you guys can hear me or if I'm in or out or not right now.
No, I hear you.
I hear you. It looks like I'm in a back room.
Yeah, so I was trying to get his thoughts on that.
All right, good. You hear me, so I don't hear you.
I could have you call in, John,
about.
And just put a picture of you up on the screen.
There we go. It looks like I might be back for me.
Hey, now you're green, so you should be good. Well, no, it just turned red again.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the green was there for a second, and then you went red again.
Terrible.
Hey, maybe you could go down to Hart Memorial Library and do the show from there.
I might as well.
Oh my God, man! What's happening at the bunker, man? I don't know.
15 homeless people to get into the library.
Do you think we can get this worked out, John, or do we have to cancel the show? All right, so yes, there is a picture of his face, but he keeps going in and out.
We'll see.
And I sincerely apologize, guys. Anyway, we did go to Alligator Alcatraz. I'm going to continue while he's working on this. We're going to move on to the next story, which is Uthmeier's taking emergency action against 70H. And if you don't know what 70H is, you're going to find out in this story, because I had no idea what 70H is. But once I did find out, I'm sure glad that he's taking this action.
A widely available supplement that is sold in a lot of smoke and vape shops across Tampa Bay is now illegal as of tonight. Florida's Attorney General and Surgeon General announcing this emergency action, making 70H, which is a Schedule I drug, making that now, demanding stores get these products off their shelves out of the state immediately. Some don't agree with this new label, though. Fox 13's Evan Moon attended the press conference with state officials today at Tampa General Hospital.
70H has been dubbed legal morphine by state officials, and it's been sold in 5,000 stores across the state of Florida. But that ends today with emergency action by state officials to classify 70H with drugs like heroin and meth. The packaging can look harmless, sold in small packets at smoke shops, flavored mint, berry, and blue raz, marketed as a pain reliever and mood booster. Florida has the largest consumption of 70H in the country.
They can easily access it on stores, shelves, gas stations, right?
But officials say it's dangerous and could send the country into another opioid epidemic.
It is scientifically meeting the criteria of an opioid, and yet you can go in a vape shop in America almost on any corner and buy it like a cup of coffee. We have to be proximate to what is happening right in front of us. We got burned with fentanyl. We got burned with prescription drugs. We cannot get behind the 8 ball again.
Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier, Surgeon General Joe Ladapo, FDA Commissioner Marty McCary,
I
and
see
multiple
Uncle Wilty in the back
all
there.
announcing a ban on the product Wednesday.
We are taking emergency action in the Office of Attorney General to prohibit and reschedule as a Schedule I drug something called 70H.
70H now a Schedule I drug like heroin or meth. Although there wasn't any data on the exact number of overdoses in the state, they say they've seen an uptick in cases in emergency rooms.
Florida Poison Control received 191 calls during the last year, exposures to the parent molecule of metragenine. This is up 14% increase over the last 3 months, directly attributable to 70H.
But not all doctors agree on its adverse effects.
After 500 million servings consumed nationally, there have not been any deaths attributed to 70H, and there have only been 8 adverse events.
And Dr. Smith believes it can actually help in weaning addicts off more serious drugs.
In Florida, you saw a 34% reduction in fatal opioid overdoses. Florida, the state with the largest consumption of 70H products around the country.
Still, Florida officials say they don't want to find out just how dangerous this can be.
Get it off your shelves. You will be seeing our folks in the coming days, and we will seize these products.
Evan Moon, Fox 13.
Wow. The last thing in the world we need is this stuff readily accessible at a smoke shop. It's just unbelievable. And this is the latest round. But these are things that we've had in stores, not exactly like this, but I remember back when I was a young man in my teens, we had mini thins. We had all these bad things that you could buy at the convenience store. You know what I mean? Now, this stuff was at a vape shop, of course. Yeah, you have to be 18 to go into the vape shop, but this stuff is bad. I mean, you've seen the videos. You've seen the meth zombies out there and people like that. The last thing we need is people to get hooked on this substance and have major issues. It's just a good thing that Uthmeier is going ahead and getting rid of it. All right, guys. So we lost John completely. I don't know what happened. He says he's trying to get back on, so we'll see. But yeah, good thing that we have an attorney general that's taking some action against this crap. So anyway, while he's trying, we'll try and get through another story while he's trying to get back on. And if not, we'll make a call from there. So anyway, let's go into the swinging sheriff, because we did have that video to open the show. And we call him the swinging sheriff because he is John, you're back. Ta-da!
Ta-da! I don't know if this is going to be any better. We'll see.
Well, you are green on my end, so it looks like you fixed it. So
all
awesome.
right. Every time you say I'm green, it goes to red.
Well, it hasn't gone to red yet, and usually if it goes right away to red, then I know we're not in a good place. But anyway, we were talking about 70H. We played the video. I don't know if you saw that, if you were able to see that on your end.
Frozen
wow.
for me.
All right. There he is. All right. Now he's back. 70H available in vape shops. Not anymore. James Uthmeier is eliminating it from vape shops. It's going away. It's basically
out of business.
Yeah, out of business here. So good thing. And I was just saying, it's a great thing we have an AG like James Uthmeier is taking action against this stuff, because a lot of times it would go under the rug and nobody would know about it. I didn't know about it, but obviously people were going into these shops and buying this stuff. So, I mean,
for sure, this is obviously, if something's not scheduled the way that 70H is now scheduled, then people abuse it like crazy until it is.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a great lesson for marijuana. They're looking, right? These marijuana lobbyists, these marijuana dealers, they want to sell marijuana willy-nilly. And it's for them, it's all about money. It's not because marijuana is good. It's not because it's bad. It has nothing to do with it. If marijuana is looking at a joint, just looking at a joint caused cancer, they wouldn't care. They'd still want to sell it because that's how they make money.
Yeah.
Right. And these gas stations are the same thing. It's legal. They're going to make as much money as they can. And okay, so now they have to get it off their shelves. No big deal. We made a whole bunch of money and good for them. I wish, and this goes along with what I was trying to say before I got cut off and everything beforehand. I wish that deals with every issue that comes in front of them. That would be that would lead to an even much better state, because Uthmeier does not hesitate. He takes quick action. He does the right thing. He's protecting families. And he said it in the clip, from what I remember, that, this is about being a state where we raise our, that's the most important part. And so I just wish that Florida would take action like that in insurance costs, in housing costs, in traffic, right? With corruption. For some reason, those are issues they can't tackle. How about freeing up our Second Amendment, right? Florida, you wouldn't expect it, but Florida's a red flag state. So why are they doing that? I wish that they would address our conservative problems the way that they address a problem like 7H or immigration. We get it. Republicans don't like illegal immigration. I don't like illegal immigration. They dealt with it great. Why not deal with all the other things that we don't like the same way? It's because there's, we know why, right? We talk about it every week. But it would be great if they did. That would be a great next step. I want to see Uthmeier and I want to see DeSantis tackle the things that nobody wants to tackle, not just the things that are easy, like immigration.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, John. All right. So we never got your take on Jay Collins. Give it to us real quick. Summary.
Well, Jay Collins, I've met Jay Collins when I was running for the Senate. I stood before Jay Collins in his office. We had a conversation. He made a couple of promises to me that were not like promises of support or anything. They were just promises to get in front of the people that control the money for the state Senate races and let me interview, right? And I don't know that I would have ever gotten that because gotten the money from the Senate because I wasn't willing to trade my integrity for ambition, which is why I never got the money. But nonetheless, all those promises were broken. They sold the seat to the Democrats. And that was the last time I spoke with him. I tried to speak with him. I was, in my opinion, I thought I was there talking with him, not him as a senator, me as a candidate. I was speaking soldier to soldier.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Jay is much of a soldier anymore. Now he's a politician. And it's not to discredit his service to the nation.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was a great warrior. He sacrificed for this country on behalf of us all. I have nothing but respect for his service. But at the same time, Benedict Arnold was also a great servant, with a great record of service and victory to the nation as well.
Yeah.
Right. And then he betrayed the nation. And so I'm not saying that Jay Collins betrayed the nation. I'm just saying that you get to a point where your service doesn't speak for your behavior at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jay is a good guy or a bad guy, illicit proof. So I would love to see it. I had somebody today reach out to me and say, hey, I don't like Byron Donalds. I'm not going to support Byron Donalds. I'm all in for Jay Collins. And I was just listening and they were like, well, what do you think? Are you in with me? And I'm just like, listen, I'll never bend over backwards for an establishment candidate. Yeah. I don't give a damn about that. They could be from the 173rd Airborne Infantry with my unit. I don't care. I will never support an establishment candidate. If they're not here to serve the American family, I don't care. I'm not going to bend over backwards for that person. So that's the number one thing for me. If they're not serving the American family, then I just don't have that much interest in seeing somebody win, no matter what their past record is.
Do you believe that he is the heir apparent to DeSantis? Like this is the
Absolutely.
guy that they've given up on? They given up on the Casey experiment there.
So, like, they had all these seats, right? This is a chess game that DeSantis has been playing with all of his pieces, right? They were saying Casey. Why? Because Casey is his wife. She has a big name. It's DeSantis. That creates all kinds of complications for Byron Donalds running Casey DeSantis. Having Casey on a stage debating Byron Donalds, that's a tough match because she's considered this like very elegant, nice, wholesome first lady, and Byron Donalds can't really attack her record, right? But they would have been attacking her on TV like crazy over the Hope, right?
Yeah.
That for sure. They would have been tearing that apart. And then they would have been attacking Byron over his past. So that would have been a very tough race. It depends. It's all about money. It's always all about money. So DeSantis could not appoint DeSantis as the lieutenant governor, clearly, right? Because nepotism.
Right.
So they did Jay. So they were like, hey, whoever's going to become lieutenant governor is going to be the one that's got to run. Now, who knows if he actually does at the end, because that's a tough hill to fight over. But nonetheless, it's got to be Jay Collins. Or it could be Uthmeier, right? It could have been Uthmeier. So either one of those two guys, and that might be the ticket for them. Uthmeier and Jay Collins, and I think Uthmeier's a little bit stronger candidate. Uthmeier's the most DeSantis-like guy without military service.
Yeah.
Right? So, but Jay Collins, they're thinking war hero. They're going to put a war hero. You're going to get all these military people who respect them, and they're going to vote for him for that reason. And they're going to try to make that dynamic vision in everybody's mind. You have Byron Donalds, who kind of has a questionable past. Everybody makes mistakes, but nonetheless, they're going to tear him up on that. And then you have Jay Collins, who's a war hero, who's never done anything wrong but serve his country and lost his leg.
Governor DeSantis, John, Governor DeSantis actually shared a video, which was a campaign spot for Jay Collins on his X profile. And it was basically, it was all in the vein of the war hero. You know what I mean? And it was just, over and over again, this man sacrificed his leg and so yes. All right. So we got your take on Jay Collins. Jay Collins. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's the heir apparent.
I don't necessarily like that. I don't like that. But I played to my strengths as a vet, right? I fought in Afghanistan also and whatever. I mean, I love that about myself. I was happy to do it. I'm very proud of that service to my nation, right? I always tell my kids, I try to get everybody I ever meet, you got to go serve your country, whatever. But I think that Jay does it for himself more than even in campaigning. If you go to his social media, all you do is see him in uniform, right? You see he makes videos, he does this, he's overselling it.
Yeah.
Okay. So is your service today, right? Is your service today attached to the service that you just finished for your country? Right? Or did you sell out? That's the question that matters.
Yeah.
Because nobody gives a damn. If you lost your leg, you got a Medal of Honor. You have a Medal of Honor hanging around your neck. He does not have a Medal of Honor. But let's say that you're a soldier. You have a Medal of Honor hanging around your neck. Okay? And then you go and you betray your country or you betray the American family. How much is that Medal of Honor worth for you in the future? It's worth nothing.
Yeah.
It's worth nothing. If you fight for this country with every ounce of grit that you have as a man, you fight, you claw, you bite for your country, and then you come home and you betray your country, it's gone. That record is gone. You're no longer a war hero. You're no longer a hero. And I know that a whole bunch of vets are going to say, no, man, you can't do that to you. Listen, the whole reason we fought, the whole reason is that when I go to bed at night, I can still smell and taste Afghanistan. Was because I was serving my country. I was willing to die for my country. I love my country. I go to bed, I say a prayer. When I pray with my kids at night, I pray for my country. It's that important to me. I pray for our leaders, even though I see a lot of them as my enemy. I pray for them, and I hope that they have wisdom because I want them to get past the stage of establishment and focus on what the American family needs. And if they're not doing that, I don't give a damn. You could be from my unit. You can be related to me. You can be, you know what? You can be a friend of mine for 25 years, just like Julius Melendez was.
No.
But once you betray your principles, you betray God, you betray the American family. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to see you. I don't give a damn about your record. I don't care whether you're a genius. I don't care whether you're the world's greatest soldier. I just don't care. What I care about is I care about this country. I care about the American family. I care about my God. And if those things aren't important to you, then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
So you can play all the videos you want of you with your titanium leg. It's just not impressive to me. The only thing that it's far more impressive to me to see a man stay true to his family, his God, and his country than it is for a man to kill people in battle. I've seen a lot of men do a lot of crazy things in battle, right? But not all of them were good enough men to come back from that, continue serving their country, and never sell their integrity. And that's just the facts, right?
Yep.
That's just the facts. So,
absolutely, John. All right. So I was starting to explain about the swinging sheriff, why he opened the show. And let me give you a little backstory on the swinging sheriff. This is Gregory Tony. He is the sheriff of Brevard County. He was appointed by Governor DeSantis in 2019 after the Parkland shooting. He was replacing a bad sheriff in Brevard County. They did not vet Mr. Tony very well.
No.
All right. They did not vet him very well because he lied about his past and the fact.
Or they did.
Yeah. He allegedly.
Him.
Yeah.
I mean, DeSantis endorsed Fred Hawkins.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? I mean, it's not like it's like they're any worse, right? He endorsed Erica Booth. She's not any worse. She's not a better person. It's not like swinging makes you the worst person in the world, but these are all creeps.
Well, the thing about Gregory Tony is he allegedly killed a man when he was 14 years old when up in Philadelphia, which did not come out until after he was appointed the sheriff. And then the fact that Mr. Tony loves to swing. Him and his wife love to swap and go to sex parties. And this is a known fact. You can Google it. Like we said at the top of the show.
It's been reported that is the case.
There are pictures, John.
Yeah.
There are pictures. I mean, pictures don't lie unless they're AI generated. And believe me, these are not AI generated. These pictures came from a website for swingers and where they were having these parties. It got blown up. It was in the Daily Mail. And it became a known fact that and that's how he became the swinging sheriff. But anyway, he's been having a lot of problems, especially with the city of Deerfield Beach. But that's not all. But let's start there.
Broward Sheriff Gregory Tony calling a last-minute news conference this afternoon to set the record straight.
It's become a very public fight with the city of Deerfield Beach over a new contract.
Yeah, we've been covering the story for you. CBS News Miami's Joe Murray is live for us right now near Fort Lauderdale at BSO headquarters with the latest round on this very messy negotiation. Joan?
Yeah, and you know, whenever the sheriff calls a news conference, he always has a lot to say, and today was no exception. He really wants to get this deal done with Deerfield, but he says one man is standing in the way, and it's a man who worked for him for decades.
And your city manager, as it sits, has zero credibility and has violated the law.
Broward Sheriff Gregory Tony taking more swings at Deerfield Beach's city manager Rodney Brimlow, accusing him of playing politics and standing in the way of a new contract he wants to ink with the city for police and fire services.
We cannot allow for our first responders to continue to leave this community.
The sheriff said he wants to give raises, and that's behind the millions more Deerfield would have to pay.
You tell me if I should go absolutely nuclear on this and destroy him.
The sheriff took to social media, accusing Brimlow, who used to be a BSO captain, of withholding information that he's now given to city leaders.
The consistent comment as they walked out of the room was they were very informed and they've all learned new information that was not presented by their city manager.
He accused Brimlow of filing a false report with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
Be impartial. The best practice is to file my own formal complaint and let FDLE conduct an investigation.
The sheriff released FDLE findings, which said they received an allegation from Brimlow. The sheriff threatened physical harm and to pay an individual $1 million to take him out.
Wow.
But after reviewing the roll call, FDLE said the sheriff did not make a threat, and it was to get members involved in the contract process.
If this game is played in Deerfield, people are going to die because of this.
Brimlow is not talking publicly, but the city issued a response saying Deerfield stands firmly regarding recent allegations made by the sheriff against Brimlow. Brimlow did not file a false criminal complaint, and the Broward Sheriff's Office requested a 10% increase in its contract. When the city refused, they said services would be terminated September 30th. Now, one thing we want to make clear, while this messy fight plays out, police and fire services continue in Deerfield Beach. And even if they were to go with their own departments, there would be a 2-year transition process. The sheriff is still hoping he can get a deal with the city. He has a meeting scheduled with the mayor next week. And while the new contract has called for millions of dollars in increases, the sheriff says they've come up with a deal that it would not impact any taxpayers in Deerfield. Near Fort Lauderdale, Joan Murray, CBS News.
I don't know about that. But real quick, John, I wanted to address a couple of comments we've had so far. So from Jim, it says swingers, they fit in well with some in Osceola County. Absolutely, they would. Absolutely, they would. But we have this problem.
We didn't put it.
Did we put
on the show? On the show, do we have the drunken post that we saw that was being spread around social media? Yeah. Do we have? Are we going to talk about that tonight? Do we have that scheduled?
No,
I don't think we don't.
Right? We don't have
no,
that.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to go there just yet. But I know that people that are in the chat that are talking, you've seen this already. You've seen it today. But yes, but this is a problem we have across the state. We have a lot of our political people that are involved in sexual deviancy, and that's the truth. But
listen, it's just a lack of wholesomeness that I think that our country has lost. Right? Yeah. This country was great when the men were men, the women were women, right? And they cared about their family. And that was their number one job, was to raise a family, protect their family, and have good outcomes for their children. And now it's not. Everybody's trying to look younger than they are. People are acting crazy all the time. Men can't even stop playing video games for 10 minutes. It's just everything is crazy. Everything is crazy, right? Nobody knows what their priorities are, and it's really just a lack of closeness to God. However, there is good news on the horizon, because I think that I saw a study recently that said that this is the highest percentage of 18 and early 20-year-olds that have a faith in God in multiple generations. And that's a great start. Now, they need to start having kids. They need to start focusing on their families. They need to start becoming men earlier. You know, we used to all, like, we look at pictures of old celebrities and we see that they're like the same age I am and they look 20 years older than me. Yeah, because they were doing nothing but sacrificing their lives for their family. Today, everybody's putting like cucumbers on their eyes all day, right? You're at work and you can't even get people to do work.
Doing a lot worse than that, John. They're doing a lot worse than that.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And the problem is that now our leaders think that they're celebrities. They forgot that they were servants, and they forgot that they were, you know, the whole reason that you serve and the whole reason it's supposed to be temporary is because it was a sacrifice. Well, it's not now. Now it's you know, they're looking, and we're going to talk about a story a little bit later in the show where it's just, they're just taking. They take from everything that they touch. They're sponges. They're vampires of the soul of our country. And that's really what, it's just a shame. These leaders, I mean, look at this sheriff. What a joke. There was nothing professional about that at all.
No.
There was, I mean, it was just, that's not the way that a sheriff is supposed to lead his community.
No, he's providing police services to Deerfield Beach. They're a very small town. They don't have their own police department. So the Brevard County Sheriff's Department provides policing services to them. He's trying to shake them down for more money. They couldn't reach a deal. So he gets into it with the city manager. Says he's going to go nuclear and destroy him.
Yeah, come on. Listen, what kind of leader walks into a room full of their deputies and says, should I destroy? They look at you, and you know what happens? They take that BS, that lack of leadership, into the street while they're doing their jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how important it is. That's just like the military. You have to demonstrate the leadership that you want your people to resemble in the field. And this guy he's an embarrassment.
Yeah,
he's an embarrassment. And the governor should tell him
his private life, which was made public, is an embarrassment. His behavior, the way he acts, and John, that's not all. You know, the swinging sheriff is also being called a liar by another police chief.
New at 6, the police chief of Pembroke Park puts Broward Sheriff Gregory Toney on blast, false statements about safety in the town. Police Chief Daniel DeCourcy said Toney made several lies, including that the town's police force is understaffed.
Pembroke Park and BSO split in September of 2022. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray joins us live from BSO headquarters with more reaction. Joan?
Well, this war of words has been going on all week, and on Wednesday, Sheriff Gregory Toney pulled Pembroke Park into this controversy. Now, Pembroke Park is south of here. It's a small town of only about 6,500 people. The chief today came out and said Sheriff Toney is a liar.
The false statements had to do with people that were fired for misconduct from the Broward County Sheriff's Office.
On the job 16 months, Pembroke Park's police chief calling out Sheriff Gregory Toney, denying remarks he made since his town left BSO and formed their own department 3 years ago.
Where they're begging some for us to come back. We're answering the majority of their calls.
Not true, the chief said. They are fully staffed, responsive, and saving money.
Get hurt. And at the same token, I know that all these men and women that I have great people.
The dust up, the latest fallout in what's become a very messy public dispute the sheriff is having with Deerfield Beach over signing a new contract for police and fire services, and the sheriff blaming the city manager for stalled negotiations.
You tell me if I should go absolutely nuclear on this and destroy him.
The sheriff predicts dire consequences if Deerfield breaks away, like he said happened in Pembroke Park.
Could I please get someone to please remove the commissioner off the dais?
The town has had problems, abruptly firing a chief on the job 6 months a few years ago. When we ask some residents now what they think of having
That's a
their
few
own
years
force,
ago. Come on.
It was mixed. Do you like it better now that they have their own police department?
Yeah.
But do you notice any difference between now and when BSO was here?
No.
But David Shaneberg, who's helped run a business 9 years, said he prefers BSO over the new department.
A crime lab, backup, enough people to run the police department if they needed it.
Deerfield's public safety future coverage a big question mark. A union chief denies a vote of no confidence in the city manager and offered some advice.
I think, honestly, that the sheriff's department and the city of Deerfield Beach need to go back to the table.
And that may happen next week. According to the sheriff, he has a meeting with Deerfield's mayor next week. He says the money problem that Deerfield would have to pay over $7 million, he has a solution to that, that they have alternatives where it would not be quite as much and also would not have any impact on taxpayers. So we'll keep you posted on what happens.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to address one other comment. Is this Sheriff Tony related to Andrew Gillum?
Well, listen, the guy seems clean and healthy, at least, right?
Yeah,
he seems like he's not. God only knows, though.
We don't know about the drugs or anything like that, but we know he does like to party. That's for sure.
Yeah, he just likes to party for sure. Well, I mean, look, this is a terrible way to treat your community. Again, this is all about ego. They're fighting. This is a lack of leadership on all their parts. It's a good thing that this guy didn't even defend himself, because sometimes it's just better to be quiet. And I don't know. There could be this seems more about ego and unprofessionalism than anything else. These guys don't take raising the fees on the citizens very seriously. And that's a big problem. Like they have no problem raising the fees for their citizens. That should be the hardest thing for a community to do. The hardest thing for any municipality to do is to fire somebody. That's the hardest thing they can do right now. The easiest thing to do is to fleece their communities for more money, and it needs to be the reversed. It needs to be the hardest thing that a municipality can do is raise the amount of fees that they're charging their residents for overseeing that community. And the easiest thing that they can do is fire people that don't behave well. And that's just a whole change in dynamic. It's just like these daises. You go to these daises, and you see the municipality in a city building, and they put them up on a high, stage, and then everybody else sits down at the bottom. And it should be the reverse. It should be like an amphitheater where the citizens sit like this, and they're all looking down at the dais of their public servants. And that would just change the dynamic of how people, of you understanding, I work for them, they don't work for me. I'm the actor, right? Which I know that Brandon Arrington would love that role. I'm the actor here. That's the audience. They're the ones that need to be satisfied. And if that were to change, maybe we would have some better government, because we need to start trying some drastic measures we don't know. I mean,
that's a good way to put it, John. I never even thought about it like that. Definitely like an amphitheater. That would definitely change the scope of it and the way that they.
Yeah, it would make you feel small as a politician. Yeah, and it would remind you that they're the ones that are up and you're the one that's down. That's what it's supposed to be, a servant. Jesus was a servant. He carried a cross for our behalf. The same thing. If you're a politician, you're carrying the burden for your community by serving. Yeah, you get paid. There might be some perks. It strokes your ego a little bit, but it shouldn't be so easy that you want to do it your whole life. And all of these politicians, that's the only thing that they can think about is their next seat.
No, that's true. Well, one thing they're worried about down in Delray Beach is the fact that they have to get rid of their pride mural, John. The vice mayor is very frustrated that they have to get rid of their pride mural here.
What city leaders call a symbol of pride and unity, yet again, is at the center of a controversy. FDOT is telling the city they have until September 3rd to remove this mural or face the consequences. Tonight, I'm pressing city leaders for their response.
It's the latest in a battle between the city of Delray Beach and Florida state government.
I think it's kind of ridiculous.
The situation taking some in Delray Beach by surprise.
I'm shocked.
A sentiment shared by the city's vice mayor, Rob Long.
Frustrated but not surprised. We expected this reaction from the state.
In FDOT's letter, it says the mural is, quote, in violation of FDOT's traffic control device standards, and that, quote, Florida statutes requires the removal of these pavement markings immediately. The city has until September 3rd to remove it before the state steps in, leaving Delray Beach with the bill and possibly the, quote, withholding of state funds. Vice Mayor Long has been a very public supporter of the mural, calling it Delray's welcome mat.
It's meant to show that Delray is a community that values acceptance, that values inclusion. That's the city that Delray Beach has always been. This is something that means something to our community.
No.
So let us govern our own community.
No.
The rule against the mural, Long says, is new. He argues that because it's on a city road, it's out of
marking your
FDOT's jurisdiction.
territory.
I
It's
found
like
what's called the
graffiti.
city's minimum construction standards and
that's
specifications
exactly what it
plan.
is.
It says all additions to crosswalks must adhere to FDOT's rulebook. Long says that means the commission can either vote not to enforce that law or can lobby FDOT to change it.
If we are forced to remove it, if there is a consensus to remove it from the dais, then I hope the next conversation is what can we do to show the community that we still support LGBTQ plus individuals in Delray Beach.
The letter gives city leaders until September 2nd to appeal. Long says
Treat them just
commissioners will
like
discuss
anybody
if that's
else.
the next
I
step
don't know.
at their meeting
Yeah,
next Tuesday.
treat them with
Reporting in
respect
Delray
like
Beach,
everyone
I'm Michael
else.
Hoffman.
Even the crazy ones that have the blue hair and don't know what bathroom to use. You know, this is a joke.
Members of the LGBTQ community deserve the same respect as anybody else, right? Not any kind of preferential treatment. They don't deserve to have territory marked like in this situation here with this pride mural and their crosswalks. That's what that is. It's a marking of territory. You could tell that vice mayor is a member of the community that he feels needs to be represented more. And he can go to hell.
Specifically,
I hope
the mental illness community.
You know, I hope they withhold funding from them if they decide not to remove it.
I hope so too. Yeah, absolutely. There needs to be consequences. I mean, listen, look, my parents are from Nicaragua. So imagine if I go and I paint a Nicaraguan flag all over there. All right. Why not? That's as much as my identity and my background, my ancestry is being gay, right? Or being trans or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. What about brown hair? I got brown hair, so I'm going to go and I'm just going to make a flag dedicated to brown hair. This is all meaningless crap and a waste of money. At the end of the day, your job is not to represent one group of people, it's to represent the American citizen. That's your job. And the American citizen doesn't have a color, doesn't have a race, doesn't have a religion, doesn't have anything. What they have is a constitutional right to walk in peace safely, to try to pursue their opportunities as they want. That's what they have. They have constitutional rights. And that's what he needs to be worried about, not about painting the streets gay. That's just dumb. This guy needs to go right away. And I hope they do. They make him suffer. They need to make all those commissioners just suffer until they change it themselves and they never try something stupid again.
Yeah.
This needs to be a page in the history books. All this LGBTQ, all this BLM, all this BS that has divided our country and practically destroyed our country needs to be a page in the history books already. We're getting there.
Yeah, we are. And you can see the signs of that happening. And it's going to be a very long 4 years for these people.
Yeah.
Anyway, you brought up perks before, John. Let's bring it up to Jacksonville, where the city council wants easier access to these perks.
Prominent Jacksonville City Council member is calling out some of his colleagues, saying they're out of touch, pushing for perks while the council is cutting critical community programs.
We're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be serving the people and not serving ourselves. That's a contradiction in public service that I just can't I can't go with that.
Well, the debate is over a proposed change to how free tickets and perks for events are distributed.
Tarek Miners here in studio. Tarek, you spoke with council members who are for and against this new legislation.
I did today. Councilman Ron Salem says he authored the legislation at the request of Council President Kevin Carrico after running into issues getting free tickets to events, he says, from Mayor Donna Deegan's office. Now, Salem says it's only fair that the mayor's office and the city council split these perks evenly. Councilmember Carlucci says, though, the legislation is a contradiction of public service.
It seems a little out of touch when you've cut Meals on Wheels for seniors by $1,750,000. You've cut the health care for people that don't have any health insurance. You cut that program out completely. You've cut affordable housing out completely. But yet you're trying to grab free tickets to ball games and concerts, to all the venues we have, plus free parking. buy hundreds of tickets all for ourselves. I mean, come on, that's seems a little out of touch to me.
City Councilman Matt Carlucci expressing strong opposition to new legislation drafted by Councilman Ron Salem. Carlucci pointing to recent painful cuts in social services during the city's recent budget process.
We're supposed to be serving the people and not serving ourselves.
The new ordinance would change the way the city distributes free event tickets and VIP perks, like free parking and box seats to Jaguars games that it receives from city-owned venues, like Everbank Stadium, Daly's Place, and the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Currently, these perks for concerts and sporting events are sent to the mayor's office, which then distributes them at its discretion. But under the ordinance authored by Councilman Ron Salem, the tickets would be split evenly between the mayor's office and city council.
So President Carrico was involved in something with the mayor's office and asked me to draft legislation that would split everything. We're a co-equal branch of this government so that we can get our share and pass them on to our constituents.
We want our share of the perks.
Councilmember Salem says the proposed change is about fairness and giving council members the ability to share tickets with members of the community.
I know when I was president, I used them to reward people as well. They may be city employees or other people in the community that have done something special, and I would call them, would you like to go to a baseball game, a Jag game, a concert, or something like that.
Critics argue that the timing couldn't be worse, and Carlucci is questioning the transparency regarding how the legislation was introduced.
Everybody wants a piece of the action.
He asked him, was it in a public meeting, a public notice meeting? Because that's discussion about legislation, and anytime you talk about legislation, it's supposed to be in the sunshine in a notice meeting. So I'm just wondering what notice meeting that discussion and request took place in.
So we asked Councilman Salem about that question of transparency that was being posed and how the bill came up. And he gave us a statement that reads in part, the ticket issue was a policy that was important to the council president. This matter was handled just like the other policy assignments where the president asks individual council members to look into and propose a response potentially through legislation. It went on to say, I wasn't directed to achieve a result. I was just asked to look into the mayor's new ticket policy. My legislation is my proposed solution to this new policy. Council members are expected to discuss this legislation in a meeting in the coming weeks and eventually vote on whether to approve it or not.
Yeah, well, there you go, John. And we've talked about Mayor Donna Deegan on this show before, how close she is to the Kahn family. The Kahn family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you know, it just seems, you know, like Patriot
and they don't
Proxy
get free
says,
tickets.
everybody wants a piece of the action. Yeah, she gets all the tickets. She doles them out. You know, that one council member says, oh, I like to reward city employees. Yeah, once in a while, when he can't give them out to family members or he doesn't have, you know, the opportunity to attend himself, he might give it to somebody that, you know, he wants to reward. But I don't know, John. This is the problem with our politicians. They all want perks of some kind.
I mean, you know what? If they have these seats, right? If they're getting these tickets, then there should be a lottery. Citizens should best be able to go and request them. You know? Yeah. Like just there's okay, so the Jags are in town.
I mean, those are NFL tickets, Sean. Those are NFL tickets.
Yeah.
And they're box seats. These are hundreds of dollars, these tickets. Hundreds of dollars.
Absolutely. They should put them up for a lottery, and all the citizens should be allowed to apply to get those tickets. They should not be going to you should not get, as a city commissioner or whatever, you should not be able to go and to all these things for free. We know all those other guys do. We know all these guys do. Like in Osceola County, they get all kinds of free. So they were going to all the shows. What they have, Country Thunder, right? And
Osceola Magic.
I'm sure that they were getting all those VIP seats. Yeah, Osceola Magic, all that stuff. We don't have anything here going on in Osceola.
Nothing really important.
But if they were, absolutely, they would be nothing really important. Yeah, they would be carrying them in on a throne. You know, they would have county employees carrying them in on a, chariot or whatever.
An NBA D-League team is what we have. That's what we have here in Osceola County. We have an NBA D-League team, the Osceola Magic. It's the farm team for the Orlando Magic. That's what we have here. And when they got them here at Osceola Heritage Park, It was just like they couldn't say enough good things. They couldn't praise the Orlando Magic enough. It was just, but they lost Country Thunder, right, John?
Yeah, they lost Country Thunder. I think that they're going to lose Meekum.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to be coming to Osceola County. The traffic is horrendous. They don't have great services. It's just it's a damn shame that they're running the county into the ground, our county commissioners.
Yeah. All right, John. So next up, and you alluded to this at the top of the show, it seems like another activist judge is going back and looking at the books in the schools and this book law that keeps these sexualized books out of the schools. Here's that story. It's real quick.
We know a federal judge has ruled part of Florida's school book law unconstitutional. The 2023 law led to books being removed from school library shelves. In the decision, the judge focused on a part of the law that prevents the availability of reading materials that describe sexual content, saying the statute is unclear on what it actually prohibits and that defendants did not attempt to explain how the law actually works.
Yeah. So there you go. Now, what that means for the law, I don't know. What does that mean for the law, John? Does that mean that they're going to go back and now these books are going to be reappearing in the schools or what?
It could be. It could mean that. And I think that what they need to do is, instead of being super careful, they just need to be more sweeping. They just need to say that any sexual content whatsoever is not going to be allowed in schools. We're not going to use our money. Here's the thing. You cannot use taxpayer money to buy any sexual content for any public schools. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Anything with any explicit sexual content does not get bought with taxpayer money. That's all. Instead of like playing the game, like, oh, we're going to try this and, whatever. And just forget it. Make it plain and simple. If it does not contribute to the educational environment, then why have it at all? Now, we know that they were using, the public school system was being used by the Democrat Party to fund these LGBTQ books, right? They were using ghostwriters, AI to put a whole bunch of books together and using a whole bunch of crazy people to write books. And then they would sell them to school districts through these like Marxist leaning or librarian associations. Excuse me. And then they would just fill them all, fill the school, fill the orders at the schools. And that's the way they would be like giving money, putting money into that movement. Just like we're seeing with the Democrat Party, there's no real people there. There's no real people. I wouldn't be surprised if USAID actually had a grant that was paying for these authors and paying for schools to buy books from LGBTQ authors.
Yep.
That's the kind of crazy that we're in.
John.
So all this stuff is going away. Yeah.
John, so we saw that Governor... Yeah, you're still there, John. We saw that Governor DeSantis was here in St. Cloud the other day. Unfortunately, the only people who knew about it was REC members because...
of which there's 5.
Yeah.
Of which there's nobody there. There's
picture,
no, a whole bunch of corrupt...
picture circulating on Facebook that showed the REC members or the people that still attend REC meetings here in Osceola County. They were the only ones that found out because the state committeeman, Mark Cross, had the heads up. He gave it out to these REC members and they showed up there. And it was probably about 15 people minus one who I know is a candidate for CD9. And he's a good guy. But the rest of them, a lot of fake Republicans, a lot of not really conservative Republicans.
Anybody that associates with the REC is making a mistake. You don't need the REC can't win any elections. It's 5 people. You don't need to bend the knee to the REC. Yeah, you think that you're going to get access to whatever. You get to go see the governor or whatever. There's other avenues. It's a mistake to be seen with the REC. If you're standing with the REC, then you're standing against the hundreds of people in the other groups.
Yes.
You are going to lose at least those. For every one person at the REC, you lose there. You lose hundreds of other people, right? It's not worth it. The REC in Osceola County is hot garbage. They're a bunch of liars. They're defunct fraudsters. It's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, they get access to the governor through this thing. Let's talk about what the governor said there. Apparently, he went there to go speak about this book ban.
I wanted to also bring up
right?
one more thing, John. There were some candidates that were there. There was actually two candidates that I know have never appeared at any other Republican group meeting except for the REC. Those are candidates you definitely want to stay away from. And I hate to say that about one of them because I knew this person prior to this person deciding to run for this office. The other one is a former Democrat that we know is a complete total rhino. But, you know, the other one, I knew this person I think it was back in 2021, 2022. Seemed like a really nice person, decent person, and all I've seen is this person hanging out with the REC, never showing up at any of the Republican groups, OCAC, ACRA. I've never seen them at any of the other groups, and this is going to be disaster for that candidate. I can tell you that. But yeah, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
At the end of the day, they're not going to get the grassroots.
Right.
At the end of the day, they're just not going to get the grassroots
And those
support.
two groups have the majority of the real Republicans, the real conservatives in Osceola County. But anyway, sorry, John. What the governor is suing book companies, right?
Yeah, so the governor is suing book company. Now, I didn't watch that press release, so I'm not going to comment on what he actually said. But let me address this. When I was a school board member, a year ago, right? I was already asking for the districts to hold this and the state to hold this book publishers accountable. Anybody that put one of those books in the schools would have to pay the price, and that parents would be able to sue them directly and the districts. Of course, they didn't want that, right? They only listened to establishment ideas. God only knows whatever happened. But listen, if Governor DeSantis is going to start taking all my ideas as a school board member, why doesn't he just call me and ask for them? I can write them all down and I can send them to the governor, and then the governor can see. Because unfortunately, I had the pleasure of fighting against these woke bastards on school boards while I was a school board member, and I didn't get any help from the state. But listen, hey, if you need ideas, DeSantis,
that is the truth.
Let me know. I'll send you all the ideas. Or you can just go watch the school board meetings and just take my ideas from there.
And exactly right. No one resigned from the REC. We were all kicked out here in Osceola County. We were all kicked out for one reason or another. And we know that it was tied to the precinct committeemen and committeewoman list. It wasn't anything to do with FRA. They have no idea who is an FRA member. The only people they knew was an FRA member.
It had nothing to do with
me and Angelica McKinney. That's the only people that they knew were FRA members for certain. They didn't know anybody else that they kicked out. They kicked them out according to the precinct committeemen and committeewoman lists. All right, John. So before we go any further, they are telling people that we quit, but we didn't quit, and you know that, Cindy.
Nobody quit the party. They kicked back, and I kept over and over and over again. Then they had the police come. We just saw that in Lake County. We see it in other RPs. They had the police come to prevent you from coming in and demanding that you are allowed to be a member and exercise your rights as a member. I was an elected official being prevented from joining the Republican Executive Committee at one point in time, and it had nothing to do with anything except that there are a bunch of corrupt crooks and fraudsters that are defrauding the people of Osceola County
and
that
continuing
are members
to do
of the
so.
Establishment.
Continuing to do
Say
so.
again?
They're continuing to do so.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get into that when we go to our Central Florida segment, which is going to be after this commercial.
Democrats jacked up inflation, making life more expensive for all of us. We need help. Now they're pushing the largest tax hike in generations. Darren Soto is completely out of touch. Darren Soto didn't stand with families. He stood with higher taxes, hammering workers, making them pay thousands more, voting against no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. We can't trust Darren Soto. Tell Darren Soto to keep his hands off your hard-earned money.
Hey everybody, it's Congressman Maxwell Alejandro Frost. I know these are heavy times. A lot of folks are feeling powerless, frustrated, and even hopeless. But here's the truth. We have power, and we show it when we come together to elect leaders who actually give a damn about us, fight for us, and represent our values. That's why I'm proud to support my friend Felipe Sosa-Lazabale for State House District 42. Felipe is about to make history as the first Dreamer ever elected to the Florida legislature and the first Brazilian American to serve in Tallahassee. And that matters, not just because of the barriers that he's breaking, but because of what he brings. Experience, courage, commitment, and lived experience that he's going to bring to his legislating.
Remember that name. He's running for House 42 there.
Nobody's going to remember that name.
Yeah, Felipe
Nobody's going to remember
Lazabale, and he looks like a ghoul, man. He looked like somebody. That guy does not need any makeup for Halloween. All you have to do is put a black robe on him, and yeah, you'll see something.
I don't know. I'd be more scared to see Maxwell Frost in a dark room than that guy.
They're both very scary characters, but if this guy gets elected, it's going to be even scarier. And we had another guy pop up, John, and I don't have his picture. I wish I had.
Wait. Is this Maxwell Frost?
No.
The twin. His.
Yes, this is somebody. This is the twin of Maxwell Frost. This guy posted in the Osceola Politics Facebook page, and he posted that he's thinking of running.
You don't have the picture? You got to have the picture. Go find that picture, Tom.
I got to find it. I'll
find
put it up.
Let's take the time. Find it. You got to find it.
Before the end of the show, I'll have it. But
okay,
you
all
see
right,
a picture of this guy. He likes to dress up. I'll just leave it at that. He's thinking of running for CD9.
Let's see, we'll save it.
He's thinking of running for CD9 as an independent. We saw how well that worked the last time somebody ran as an independent. But anyway, I digress.
I'm happy for him to run as an independent because he's going to destroy the Democrat candidate if he does. And I mean, so that's.
Yeah, because he fits right in with all the crazies on the left. But
he's
anyway,
a Democrat.
Yeah. So before we get to what happened in Lake County the other night here, let's talk about this first and what's happening in Lake County. And this preceded what happened at the REC meeting in Lake County. The property appraiser there, he seeks a $1.2 million increase in his budget. Check this out.
Just like all of Central Florida, Lake County is growing and fast. That growth is just one reason why the county's property appraiser, Mark Jordan, says his request for a bigger budget is justified. However, Lake County Commissioner Anthony Sabatini is not holding back when it comes to his criticism of the request. Lake County property appraiser Mark Jordan is requesting another $1.2 million on top of a current budget just shy of $5 million. But why?
It's significant growth that's the issue here, and that budget simply can't keep up with that.
Jordan says his current budget is lower than other Florida counties about the same size as Lake. The increased budget would be used in part to fund more jobs within the department.
This would be our first IT person, which is, we're beyond the adolescent stages, so we certainly need staff like that. There's additional field appraisers, an additional commercial appraiser. We only have one commercial appraiser with nearly 15,000 commercial parcels.
But Lake County Commissioner Anthony Sabatini blasts the request as unprecedented.
We've never seen any constitutional officer ever ask for this much money, and to do this at a time in which the entire theme of the Republican Party of Florida and our leadership in Tallahassee is to reduce spending is almost comical.
Do you think there is any room to expand the property appraiser's office at some point? I mean, Lake County has experienced a ton of growth. I mean, even just in the last 5 years.
Absolutely. I think something like a 2, 3, 4, or 5 or 6% budget increase makes sense, really, if you look at inflation. So, 6, 7, 8%. If you would have came in somewhere around like maybe 8%, I would have probably scrutinized it but possibly considered supporting it. Coming in at 28% is clearly just shenanigans.
Jordan expects the State Department of Revenue to decide just how much his office deserves in a couple of days. After that, the county or Jordan could appeal. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
Well, there you go. 28%.
28%.
Ooh, that's a lot.
That's a hell of a high number, right? And this is not a liked guy.
No,
right?
he's
This
not.
is the guy who stole the election from Carrie Baker.
Yep.
This is just, I mean, that's crazy. And you can't mess around. If you're going to FAFO with Anthony Sabatini in Lake County whenever you're doing, right? Because he loves the opportunity to smack somebody down who's acting crazy. And this guy deserved it, and he got it, and good for him. Good for Anthony Sabatini. I hope that he smokes him. Now, this is the kind of shenanigan. This guy is not Anthony Sabatini, the property appraiser, is connected with the REC, right? And the REC also did the same thing that happened in Osceola County. If you don't remember, in Osceola County, they kicked a whole bunch of people out. They did a whole bunch of shady things. They stole the election in 2022. They stole the election in 2024, and they are continuing along that path. They're going to steal all the elections. They went from a group of nearly 100 or more than 100 people to like nobody, a handful of people, of inconsequential people who are, defiling diapers at this point. It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyways, cutting to the Lake County REC.
Yeah.
It's just let's roll the tape. I mean, you just got to see.
So yes, this battery that occurred at Lake County, just unbelievable, John. But it's par for the course when you're talking about the RPOF and their RECs.
New at 11, police in Leesburg say they were called to a report of a battery at the site of the Lake County Republican Party meeting tonight.
A Lake County commissioner says that he was barred from entering the meeting, and witnesses say that a woman was hurt when she tried to exit that building. West 2's Haley Crumblehome has what we know tonight.
I've never seen anything like this. This is the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen.
This video shows Lake County Commissioner Anthony Sabatini outside of the Lake County Republican Party meeting at the Venetian Center in Leesburg Monday night. A meeting Sabatini alleges he and others were barred from entering.
We were approached and surrounded by 4 FHP officers. We were told we were going to be arrested and thrown in jail if we walked in the front door.
Sabatini has been critical of the party chair, Representative Taylor Yarkowski, with Sabatini posting on X earlier Monday, encouraging people to join him at the meeting where he claimed people would be calling for Yarkowski's resignation. West 2 made attempts to reach Yarkowski for comment Monday night. He appeared to have left the Venetian Center by the time our crew arrived, which was after this scene erupted.
He most definitely slammed on her hands.
That's what you did. The Leesburg Police Department confirmed they were called to this location for a report of a battery. But as of around 7 o'clock Monday night, they said no arrests had been made, which is why we blurred this video.
The woman comes out the door. He goes to shut the door, slams her hand in it. I said, you can't do that. You can't keep people from coming out. And now you've slammed her hand. I told the FHP guy, look, you just let this guy batter this woman right in front of you.
Another witness shared this photo of a woman on the ground receiving medical attention. Her right hand looks to be in a tub of ice. What's next, Sabatini says?
We'll be filing 2 lawsuits.
Covering Leesburg and Lake County, Haley Crumblehome, West 2 News.
And they did file those 2 lawsuits, John. They did file those lawsuits. But, Anthony Sabatini had posted on Facebook that he had contacted Evan Power, the chairman of the Republican Party of Florida, and that Evan Power did not agree with the actions of the Lake County REC. And I commented on Anthony Sabatini's post, and I said, believe it, that Evan Power was behind it, because this has happened all over the state. This isn't an isolated incident. This has been happened.
No.
Just like
Power, aside from looking like
it happened down in Manatee,
is full of
it
dookie.
happened here, it happened all over Florida.
Absolutely. Evan Power is full of crap, right? He's just a joke of a human being. He's a stack of deuces. It's just he's a shame. He's an embarrassment to men everywhere. So I can barely contain my displeasure at having a GOP led by somebody like Evan Power and Bill Helmick and the other creeps that are there right now. It's disgusting. And this is what they're doing across the state. He can deny that he had any knowledge of it, but that's BS. He would have removed the chairman already if that was the case, right?
Absolutely.
If he were a man, if he weren't the slug who drank sugar water, the roach from what's that movie with Will Smith, the aliens, Men in Black, he's like the guy who's the giant roach from that show. Okay, and if he weren't that giant roach, he would have immediately called for Yurkowski resignation. And the guy who battered the lady crushing her hand in the door, he would have removed him from the party, because now they're free to remove anybody they want from the party. So, but the truth is, he's a roach, and he's the chairman, and he's in charge. The buck ends with him, and they are all a bunch of roaches. That is nothing but a roach motel. The GOP, that Bush building, is full of roaches now. That's all that remains there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not going to change for a long time. That's why I left the party. That's why I'm part of the America First Party of Florida right now, which, by the way, this is the perfect time to add this. The America First Party of Florida recently more than doubled the number of members. And there were more than 150 people that left the Republican Party and joined the America First Party of Florida because of disgusting behavior like this.
That's right.
And so if you're interested, join the America First Party of Florida. It's all the conservatism, none of the corruption. What could be better, right? Let's get back to morals and a moral high ground that these guys would never be able to consume, nor do they want to hold that moral high ground. But yeah, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting, this behavior. They're no different than Democrats.
No,
they're no different than Democrats.
As long as Evan Power and Bill Helmick run the RPOF, you're going to continue to see things like this. It's never going to stop. It's not going to change. We've already seen that they're not done with the FRA. Don't believe that they are. They're not done with the FRA. And now they're going after Defend Florida. And who's next after that? Who's next after that?
The RLC. I know that here, listen, these guys are not going to stop. It's going to end. It's not going to end because they have to. Listen, all these Democrats and Republicans are owned by the same lobbying firms. They're owned by the same people that want to sell weed. They're owned by the same organizations that control toll roads. They're owned by the same people who want to put radioactive materials on the streets. They're owned by the same lobbyists, all of them. And so in order to be able to make those things happen, you cannot have any dissent. They can pretend, you can give the illusion that they're disagreeing, but they passed red flag laws, right? That's not a concern. We have a super majority of Republicans in the House, and they still passed red flag laws. Okay, come on. This is BS. These guys are all the same. Don't be fooled any longer. There's no difference between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. It's one giant uniparty. And at some point, we have to do something to address that. And in my opinion, the Democrat Party is dead. The Democrat Party is not going to come back in Florida. They're not going to come back. They're only going to lose members. And then you're going to have two opposing sides. You're going to have the Republican Party, which is going to be the new Democrat Party, and you're going to have the America First Party, which is everything that the Republican Party failed to become that it could have become. And that's the future of Florida. That's the way it's going to happen. And we can see it, that the way that at the rate that people are joining the America First Party, you're going to start to see that in this next election and in further elections, it's going to become a bigger and bigger part, because they're not right now, 3,000 members is not that many. That's 3,000 members almost in 2 months, right? So now you're going to look at it in the future. In a year from now, you're going to be talking about 30,000 people that impacts an election. DeSantis won the governor's seat by 25,000 votes. So by the time the next election comes, the AMF Party, America First Party of Florida, is certainly going to be playing a role. And so that's the way I see it going. I just couldn't anymore. I can't lie in bed. I have a dog. I love my dog. She's the best. Okay. But she stinks. Okay. My dog stinks. No matter how great she is, no matter how beautiful she is, she's a Rottweiler. She's a great dog. She's super smart, but she'll get out of the pool. She'll want to come into the house and she'll stink. Okay. I don't lay with my dog. I love her, but I don't lay with her when she stinks. Okay. Well, the Republicans in Tallahassee, not only do they stink, but they don't have any of the good characteristics. They're not handsome. They're not pretty. They're not beautiful. They're not smart. They don't protect the house. They're everything negative. So I can't be in bed with them anymore. If I won't lay down in bed with the dog that I love, much less am I going to lay in a bed with those bastards in Tallahassee. I can't do it.
You know, it is true. John's dog does stink. And the worst part about her is that she's so
not
lovable.
as bad as Evan Power.
She's so lovable and attention seeking that she comes and wants to be pet. She wants to be loved on. But yeah, she does stink. So yeah, but not as bad as Evan Power and Bill Helmick. And you know what's happening with the America First Party? You can blame Evan Power and Bill Helmick because they are the ones who have divided the party.
Absolutely.
The actions they have taken are so egregious that they can never be forgiven. They can never be forgiven. They have to go.
They cannot take back what they've done.
They have to go. No, there's no truce. You know, I've heard people talking about a truce with Evan Power and Bill. No. There is no truce. They have to go. That's
to some degree, I think that this is part of the reason why the FRA didn't get to where it could have gone, because the FRA should have taken him head on very aggressively at first. They had relationships with all these legislators and whatever. They should have pushed, and instead they pulled, and I don't think it worked out in their favor. So no. I hope that they start to. I know that there's all kinds of things going on in the FRA right now.
Yeah.
And the FRA is a great group of people. It's full of real patriots. It's full of people who love this country and people who are willing to work for a better Florida. And unfortunately, if the FRA was the Republican Party of Florida, whole different world, right? If the RLC were the people that were in charge of the Tallahassee and Florida, whole different world. But the fact is that those groups are being pushed to the side and not being able to have the consequence because they're being rebuffed by the party. So instead of working together to make the state better, the party's rebuffing all the groups that have any interest in making this country better. And they're the ones that want the country to be slimy. They want the state to be slimy because they're a bunch of slimy bastards.
Yeah. So hopefully we see some action taken there, and hopefully we see some change within the RPOF, and we know that we will see some change within the FRA come October 1st. The FRA will have statewide elections, and we'll see what comes of that. So let's move over to Apopka, John. Apopka.
Hey, please like and share the show. By the way, we have a great number of people watching, and I just want to say, take the opportunity to like and share the show before we go any further. I should have
Absolutely. We appreciate you watching the show. Remember, we are the only show, one of the only shows that is strictly about Florida politics, statewide, and, our home here in Central Florida. We're covering it, we're talking about it, and we're exposing it. So, yes.
Telling the truth.
Yep, absolutely. So, Apopka, the mayor is blaming a 15% rate hike on higher costs. So yes, 15% rate hike for you in Apopka, and here's your mayor.
I'm your Apopka community correspondent, Justin Warmoth. If you live in Apopka, you likely got this in the mail. It details the proposed rate increases for water, sewer, and garbage. I saw a lot of chatter about this, a lot of confusion on social media, so I took those concerns right to Apopka's mayor.
We got revenue and we got expenses, and so when your expenses go up, you have to raise your rates.
Apopka Mayor Brian Nelson claims the city's hands are tied when it comes to the proposed rate hikes. He says the St. John's Water Management District is now requiring the city to tap into the lower aquifer for its water.
And what happens is the water, you'd think water deeper would be better, it's not. So now we have to put on an ozone treatment, another 5 or 6 million. So we'll have about 12 million all in on replacing what was a perfectly functioning, water plant.
That cost passed on to residents, 15.5% higher for water, reclaimed water, and sewer each. Nelson says they have no choice but to charge more.
The utility has to stand on its own. It doesn't have to make a profit. It's not the intent of a utility to make a profit. But it is that you have to cover your costs, and you have to have money in the bank to be able to replace pipes as they age out.
Garbage rates could also go up citywide by as much as 15%.
When the tipping fees to go to the dump go up, we have to pass it on.
There's a lot of things going up. Do you think Apopka is still an affordable place to live?
Yes. I mean, our tax rates are one of the lowest in the area. I mean, when you look at our water rates, our sanitation rates are probably the lowest in the area. So
yeah, they do.
You got to look at the global area. I mean, if we were 20% higher than everybody in the area, then you have, I think, a reason to question our rates.
Nelson denies that Apopka's population boom is playing into the rate increases, but that's been a common theme among locals who feel the city hasn't managed the growth properly.
We try to manage how many units, what kind of, growth we're putting on those properties. But, at the end of the day, property rights are, what this country was founded on.
Sure. No, I totally understand that. I think people do understand that, but I think what they don't understand or what they're upset about is you do have that, but then the infrastructure doesn't follow when it's playing catch up a little bit.
I don't know that I agree with
There you
that.
go.
Our impact fees and the numbers we just put together last week are the highest in Central Florida. So you can only
They
charge,
all say that too.
You have to, it's just like water rates. You have to charge based on the actual cost and the need. You can't just say, you know what, we're gonna triple, quadruple the impact fees. You can't do that. You have to say, okay, here's the nexus how we got to that rate.
Now a hearing on the proposed rate increases is set for September 3rd here at City Hall. If it passes, it'll take effect October 1st. I'm your Apopka community correspondent, Justin Wormuth, News 6.
how
Well,
sounds
like that guy's got to go. He's got to go. How is he full of crap, John?
He's full of crap. Because they're charging 15% increases on the things that don't involve the new piping. Right? So reclaimed water is and it's done there. That doesn't go, you're not digging any new wells to get to an aquifer that's deeper into the ground than that. So why is that increasing 15%? I would love to hear the opinions of some expert on the water utilities. I am not, but if everything across the board is increasing 15%, he's full of crap. Exactly. This is a revenue generating action. It has nothing to do with, our costs increased by 15%. So we're giving it. No, that's BS. They also said that the garbage was going to increase 50%. What does that have to do with the lower aquifer? Nothing. They're full of crap. They do this when they need these expenditures. And what they were talking about, impact fees. We can't just do this, blah, 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 blah. The need, if it was only based on need, that would mean that that these impact fees would be 100% higher. Because we're way beyond the need. We're way beyond the need in services than we're collecting in impact fees because the county commissioners are just squandering away the money that they're making. Yeah. So it's all BS.
It is. It absolutely is.
100% right. Patriot Proxy is saying that wait until their energy bills double because of the stupidity of Florida's PSC. Absolutely right. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Obviously this guy's got to go, and I hope that the residents of Apopka actually watch that segment from Channel 6 because I think they'll have a whole new light. Save that in your memory when the time comes to vote for a new mayor in Apopka because you obviously need one.
I mean, these guys just like to take it. So many people don't care. They just take it.
Yeah, that is true, John. There's a lot of people that don't pay attention to what's going on
Look
around
at Osceola County, although I thoroughly believe they're stealing elections in Osceola County, but nonetheless.
Absolutely are. Absolutely. All right, John. So this is very interesting. This troubled Titusville city attorney, she's leaving Titusville, and guess where she's coming? She's coming here to Osceola County.
Osceola, of course.
Watch this. This is from
where
our
the
friends.
Most moronic attorneys are.
This is from our friends in Titusville.
We have an interim city attorney who is entrapping an elected council member. Does that not bother you?
Our attorney, who I think should be fired for her behavior.
You were just given an example and proof that your sitting temporary city attorney did it.
I'm going to ask our interim city attorney if she'd like to say anything before I speak. No. Okay. I got a few weeks ago a records request from someone named Maverick Brownfield. Has anybody else gotten a records request from Maverick Brownfield?
Not from him, but many others.
I found it interesting. The request was for all of my social media from the month of December. I did my best to comply. I went through my social media.
Looking at
and I
that
took
woman's profile,
screenshots,
she looks like the
and I
Wicked
sent
Witch of the
that off.
West.
This morning, I get another request, and
She looks like somebody
they're
from
asking
Osceola
for
County.
the same person. Now the name is Maverick Brownfield / Anthony
She looks
Altamont.
like she should be a county commissioner here.
This comes from Lisa Marie, our records person. She said, the record request has been provided was not responsive to the original request. So I did my best to fulfill the request. With this one, I emailed back quickly and said, hey, here's the link to my social media if you would like it. But what was interesting on that request is there was an email or a text exchange. I don't think it was on purpose. And I'm going to pass this down so that I've got one for each of you so that you can see this conversation. And I'm very, very disappointed in this. It's an exchange between our interim city manager, or interim city attorney, Chelsea, and some other person. The name's blacked out, so I don't know. But if you go through it, what it is our interim city attorney telling whoever this is to request these records from me, and then saying, wait, you need to go back and request it this way. I wanted to follow procedure, and I wanted to do what was right. So the first person I called was Chelsea, and I asked her about this. And I said, hey, look, this came in. I don't know anything about this. And until I told her, there's a picture of a little girl, and this is what the text messages say, she finally admitted, yes, that was me. So the messages say, do you think you can cut and paste that last message I sent you and put that in the reply back to the email you got to the city? So I asked Chelsea, why would you do this?
I may have may have made a mistake, and I've told you that. And I would like to again apologize for maybe going outside of the scope of where I should have. I don't believe that anything was illegal. I could have done it a different way.
Is that a fireable offense? I believe this person should be fired.
All right, so she was in danger of being fired, John, for this. She was trying to entrap one of the council members there. And sure enough, here is the end result from the Titusville Citizens Report. Former city attorney Chelsea Farrell, who had the chance to resign rather than face termination in the city of Titusville, and that's what happened. She ended up resigning instead of getting terminated. With this email entrapment scandal, is now making her mark in Osceola County. One has to wonder if she's taken a good hard look in the mirror and learned from her past missteps. I doubt it. Only time will tell if she'll bring the same questionable ethics to her new role, but let's just say you might want to keep your eyes peeled. And I want to take a moment real quick and thank Chance John Meyer for bringing this to my attention, because I had no idea about this, but he alerted me to this, and thank you very much, Chance. Unbelievable, but Cindy said it, corruption attracts corrupt, and that is true. That is so true. I could tell you about some of the people that were working at the St. Cloud City Hall and some of the things I found out about them and their past before coming to St. Cloud, but I'll leave that for another show, another day.
The crazy thing about this is that on the heels of this, she gets elected as the deputy attorney for Osceola County.
Yep.
On the heels of that, I mean, are they what? It's almost like they could not have found a better candidate for Osceola County.
Yep.
That's exactly the only attorney dumber than this one that I've seen is the attorney for Osceola County Schools. That's the only dumber attorney I've seen, because that attorney is as dumb as two bricks rubbing together. The spark that might create, which does not create any spark, it's only dust. That is how intelligent that woman is, just a puff of dust. And this person, this attorney, is also that smart. Who the hell tries to entrap? I mean, this is absolutely crazy. Why would Osceola hire her?
Yeah.
It's the same reason that we would hire the idiot attorney for the schools. It's because of how corrupt they are.
Yeah.
It's because of how corrupt they are that they're being hired so that they can continue in a line of corruption. You have no ethics? Come to Osceola County, right? You have no integrity? Come to Osceola County. You're the perfect person to work for the county. We'll even set you up with an office in Neo City. That's where all the other idiots are working. So it just never ends. It never ends. This is crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
You know,
I mean,
who's doing the vetting at Osceola County? I mean, really, this is recent.
Brandon. It's got to be Brandon. Brandon and Ricky together. The Brokeback Mountain couple are the ones that are probably doing the vetting for this.
Oh my God, this is recent, and she just resigned and came over to Osceola County. They hired her right away. I mean, it's like you said, Cindy. Corruption attracts corrupt, and they know that she had a problem. They're like, great, come on board. Here we go. Come with us. So let's keep our eyes peeled on Miss Farrell and see what happens. All right, CFX, John, holds a meeting to discuss fixing Osceola traffic. Wow.
I'm Stephanie Rodriguez, your Osceola County community correspondent. The Central Florida Expressway Authority had a meeting on Thursday, and on the agenda was Osceola County and just how much it's grown past population projections and what infrastructure is needed to help alleviate traffic. Those who call Osceola County home have noticed all of the people who've moved in over the last few years. How's it grown in the years you've been here?
It's been growing. I mean, it's a clean environment.
And all the traffic that came with them. Oh, it's horrible.
First thing in the morning, usually in the afternoons, is the worst.
The 2000 U.S. Census recorded a population of 172,531.
And everything in between.
Yeah.
For 2025, it was projected to hit 410,000, but it's actually over 468,000.
I work in the new construction, so all the new homes, it's definitely brings a lot of people in, and yeah, it's, I remember Narcoossee, Lake Nona area, I think like just about 6-7 years ago was just cow pastures.
Osceola County is expected
it was a lot longer than that, but I remember that.
Population by 2040. Those who find themselves in what can feel like endless traffic tell me they're glad to hear a conversation about the county's growth is happening, even if they won't see the payoff anytime soon.
I would say there's really nothing you could do but have 20-lane roads.
It's just a time constraint issue with that, so it's going to be like that for a while.
The Expressway Authority will also get an update on the Southport Connector Project, a proposed 15-mile expressway connecting Poinciana Parkway with Florida's Turnpike. There will be public hearings for the Southport Connector Project starting next month. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, so that Southport Connector doesn't just connect to the Turnpike. It's also going to connect to Canoe Creek Road here in St. Cloud. So it's a direct shot from Poinciana into St. Cloud. It's bad news for St. Cloud residents, absolutely.
Until that traffic starts going through. Now you're getting traffic on both ends, squeezing in like a pincer.
Yeah, it's
onto St. Cloud.
It's going to be a complete, total nightmare, John. And especially with what they plan and have going in down Canoe Creek Road. St. Cloud is never going to be the same after all this is said and done. So I find it utterly amusing that CFX is having a meeting. Don't you guys get paid to figure this stuff out? Don't you get paid to plan and execute roads and make sure the infrastructure is where it's supposed to be?
Listen, wait. Let me interrupt you for a second. Who is the chairman of CFX?
Let me think about that. Could it be?
It's one half of Brokeback Mountain.
Is it an Arrington?
Okay, so exactly. So one half of Osceola Brokeback is the chair of CFX, and the problem with that is that you have a county commissioner who's responsible for spending millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in future road money on his pet projects like Neo City, for example, right? And the guy who created traffic is the guy who's going to have the conversation now at CFX to resolve traffic by putting in roads that we have to pay to drive on. I mean, is there anybody who doubts that Brandon Arrington is going to become very wealthy after his time at CFX.
Yeah.
Anybody, he's more than willing. He doesn't have kids, but if he did have kids, he'd be happy to sell their souls to the devil. And he's selling out Osceola County over and over and over again until there's nothing left.
For the last 20 years,
any bidder.
He's been creating the problems that CFX held a meeting about. That the last 20 years, Brandon Arrington has created this problem. Yes, it is time for Doge to come to Osceola County. Absolutely.
And really 24, because his mom did it before that.
Yep. And
so
when it's all said and done, it will be 24 years for him. So, but they hold these meetings.
Then it'll be 28 in total.
They hold these meetings to make the general public feel like they actually care and that they're actually doing something about it, which neither is true. They're not doing anything about it really, and they don't really care. All they care about is making money. And yes, you see some roadways being done right now, but that's out of necessity because you can't sell homes to people when they're coming here to check out the home, and it takes them an hour to get out of here. People are going to be I don't want to deal with this.
What they're doing is they're bringing him here during non-traffic hours.
Yeah.
And then they'll never see any, just like those people that live down on John Young Parkway across the street from the water plant there, right? Where, God forbid they never took them there at night. And now every night they have to waft in the human waste, the smells coming from Brandon Arrington's house, probably. But all that smell coming in of sulfur and worse. That should be a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing. You're going to see more of this traffic. And yes, we do have roads being constructed on like Neptune. Cynthia brought that up. Neptune is a complete nightmare right now. I even feel after it's done, it's still going to be a nightmare. It's not going to fix the problem. They're about to start construction on Canoe Creek Road in St. Cloud, which is going to be an absolute nightmare. Other roadways, you see the turnpike. I don't know who came up with this, that they thought it was a great idea to bottleneck it from 4 lanes to 2 at Osceola Parkway. Who came up with that idea? That person should be shot. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm sorry. They shouldn't be shot. They should be fired. They should not have a job because there is an accident there every single day. Every single day there is an accident there. There is not one day that goes by that there is not an accident between Osceola Parkway and the St. Cloud and Kissimmee exit. There is always an accident there, almost every single day.
There should be legislation, Tom, that if the road causes an accident, then the victims of that crash should be able to sue the county commissioners.
Yes. Sue the county commissioners
and the county.
Sue FDOT, sue CFX, sue the state. Maybe that'll get the attention.
They should remove immunity from these
Governor
county
DeSantis was here in St. Cloud. I'm wondering some of the traffic getting out.
What time did he come?
It was in the morning after the morning rush had gone by, and he probably left before the afternoon rush. He still experienced
it. He still experienced it.
Depends on which way he came. If he went Narcoossee Road, then absolutely, and I think he did. I don't know where the school was that he was at. I believe it was over in that area, though. I could be wrong, but if any of you watching know exactly where that school is,
I wonder if anybody asked him why there's not a chaplain program here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the guys was there. He could have talked to him, but who knows if he cared. Anyway, all right. So let's move on. Osceola Sheriff, new Sheriff Chris Blackman, talked to Channel 6 about investigations that are happening within the department right now while this Sheriff Lopez case is still happening. And by the way, quick tidbit on Sheriff Lopez's wife. They did rule that she could have the ankle monitor removed. So now she is without ankle monitor at home waiting for trial. So just a little tidbit there. And here's Sheriff Blackman.
I'm Laverne McGee, your Osceola County community correspondent. I spoke one-on-one today with the new sheriff who's been in office for 10 weeks, and he's cleaning house. He tells me more charges may be coming against some of his own employees.
It's been very intense for the last 10 weeks to go through this place with a fine-tooth comb.
10 weeks ago was when Osceola County Sheriff Chris Blackman was appointed after former Sheriff Marcos Lopez was removed on racketeering charges. Since then, Blackman says he's been trying to clean up a mess, and that meant 2 of his employees, including a deputy, were arrested just 2 weeks ago. What is the follow-up to that? And do you see any more changes like that coming?
We're digging. I had the internal affairs section go through everything for the last 4 years and 5 months, which was under the Lopez administration, and had them brief me out on every case that they thought I needed to know about.
Hey, pause it,
and
Tom.
Brought me a stack,
Yeah.
And we went over the cases through. Some stuff is already over with.
All right.
So why only go back 4.5 years? If there's corruption there, right?
Yeah.
You find that there's widespread corruption in that sheriff's office. Why only go back to Lopez's term? You don't think that there was any corruption prior to that during Russ Gibson or anybody else? That doesn't make any sense. If the sheriff deputies are willing to partake in corruption to the degree that Lopez was, and nobody told on him, or it wasn't busted super fast, what does that tell you? Yeah. How many cops have been disciplined from the sheriff's office? And I'm not saying that the deputies are all bad or anything like that. I'm just saying, why stop there? Why wouldn't you go further back? Wouldn't you want to know if this is beyond Lopez, or are they only focused on, hey, let's get rid of Lopez and that's it? It kind of works into what I was talking about the last time we had a Lopez discussion.
Yeah.
And I am not a Lopez apologist. I don't give a damn that he's out. I was not a friend of his. I was not a supporter of his. I didn't support him in his race. But I find it curious that, man, this guy says Lopez more than he says America. I don't get that. And that's very rare. Rarely do you see one politician talk about another politician. It's just rare. Yeah. So but for this guy to be like nonstop, I mean, come on. It's just, and why stop the investigation?
I'll just play devil's advocate real quick. Maybe it is easier for them to go 4 years back than to go 10, I don't know. Maybe
6. Why not 6? Just check.
Yeah.
No, you don't even have to go that far. Why not just go 5? You're going 4.5, go 5.
Yeah.
And see if anything was going on during the previous administration.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what, if I were the sheriff, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, they got to root it out and find it for sure. And I'm glad he is at least looking into it.
But
yeah, I can't wait for him to look into Brokeback.
Here before.
The Brokeback Bear.
So we have that. We've looked at that. There's some additional stuff from there that we've discovered since then that we're going to make some more charges on some more people.
Would those people be deputies?
Could be. Could be civilians. I don't want to go into that. Sure. But yes.
And several audits are underway.
The financial audit
could be civilians like Sharifa.
We've got the evidence property audit that's underway to make sure the 200,000 pieces of evidence we have on hand are all here. We've already done a cursory check, spot check, and they're here. But FDLE is assisting us with that and looking forward to the results of all those, and so we can give more answers to the public.
Aside from cleaning house, there are positions to fill. The office currently has 42 vacancies.
I think now, looking forward, we're actually going to get back to being a law enforcement agency, and I can stop policing the police.
Your Osceola County community correspondent, Laverne McGee, News 6.
All right, so 42 open positions right now, John. So if you know somebody that wants to have a career in law enforcement, there you go. There you go. But
I mean, I do like what he's doing. Don't get me wrong. I just think, dude, don't leave any question, right? That's the one thing Osceola could use, is not leaving any question. You would want the citizens of Osceola. They'll elect him Pope if he can just be the one transparent, honest guy, right? I mean, that's it. That's what I'm praying for, is just one. And let it be the sheriff. Honest, transparent, constitutional sheriff. That's it. If you can be those 3 things, but I don't want you to be like an anti-Lopez guy. Lopez is gone. The dude's in jail,
Yeah.
Lopez is gone. He's in jail. They're dealing with him. He's going to get prosecuted. He might end up in jail for who knows how long. I'm done talking about Lopez. He's gone. That problem is resolved. What about all the other problems that we have in Osceola that need to be dealt with now? I know that dealing inside the sheriff's office is one of them. That has to be cleaned up. That's like a root canal has to be performed there. I get it, and I like it. I just don't make it about Lopez. Make it about corruption and honesty and transparency for the people who live in Osceola County.
Absolutely. And you know, I agree. You know, who is looking at the supervisor elections and her son? Yes, Jim, absolutely. We need all these people looked at. We need Doge here in Osceola County. I don't know if that would eliminate those people in particular, but maybe if we find some monies and misspent, we need definitely something to happen here.
I mean, there's something there. When I got into the system, when I got elected, I mean, there was a chairman selling millions and millions and millions of land deal involvement with his wife.
Yeah.
Who was the attorney representing the seller and the buyer? Come on.
That is the level of corruption we have here in
That's
Osceola
the level
County.
of corruption here. Yeah. I mean, if they were that comfortable, you don't have to, you don't need like a dragnet, man. They're there. All you got to do is sniff and it stinks.
Yeah. And that is the problem right there. She breaks
They're
the law,
protected is the problem.
and Cordbird endorses her. Yep, exactly, Cindy.
Yeah.
That is the problem in a nutshell. And you know, I said this before, I'll say it again. I would not run for office here in Osceola County until that woman is out of that office. And no one with the last name Arrington is controlling it. Because the rumor is that he's going to run for that office next.
Yeah.
You know, that once his term is done and she's done, he's going to try and jump into that SOEC. And God help us if that happens. Really.
Yep.
So, you know, a little bit earlier, Cindy said, she asked, what is Mayor Ego doing about it? Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
We're going
right
to talk
now.
about Mayor Ego. Don't worry.
Yeah. So this story came up, which was very interesting, and it was about St. Cloud residents, and it's talking about them amending the plan here in St. Cloud, the comprehensive plan. I campaigned on this very hard in 2022 about development down on our lakefront. It is the one piece of naturally beautiful real estate we have in St. Cloud, and they are hell-bent on putting retail shopping on that lakefront. It makes no sense to me, but here's that story.
I'm Laverne McGee, your Osceola County community correspondent here at Lakefront Park in St. Cloud.
Just
there
like
is a
they own
proposal
Krabby
to
Bills
make
right
some
now.
of this beautiful lakefront property have commercial building on it. Many people
That's why
here
it
say
sucks.
they are not in favor of that. We'll tell you what City Council is planning.
It's a place that me right there, like her, to play, to get some exercise.
Kayla Rivero brings her 7-year-old son here to Lakefront Park in St. Cloud to play after school. She lives just 10 minutes away and says she doesn't want to see commercial buildings and houses built by this lake.
And it's already getting a little overwhelming at times, especially with the school incentive.
Right now, the City of St. Cloud and council members are trying to decide which areas of the city they will allow future development. The state of Florida requires cities and counties to have comprehensive plans to manage future growth. They're planning for what the city will look like by 2045. They sent a map similar to this to residents. It shows proposed commercial land use as seen in the orange areas. Mark Denius brings his 17-month-old daughter here to play.
What we have now is perfectly fine, but obviously they don't care. They see every inch of land as inventory, so they're just willing to do whatever is best for their pockets.
I love this guy.
Absolutely.
Sent us a statement
Mic
that says in
drop
part,
right there.
Who is
the
this
updated
guy?
includes
We
a
need to get in
designation
contact
for
with him.
employment land use to plan for new jobs in the community. It also addresses the population growth.
New jobs. They
They've held
always say
several
that.
public meetings throughout this process
New jobs
and have
have
made
never
changes
come
to
here.
what they're proposing based on feedback from the community.
I would say no. I would say to just keep it as is.
Members of the public can attend a meeting on Thursday morning to give their opinion. City Council will vote on the proposed changes on September 11th.
On Thursday morning when
Osceola County
everybody's at
Community
work.
Correspondent Laverne McGee, News 6.
So exactly what you said. When everybody's at work, they're going to have this. And then, of course, the city council is going to vote on this. I believe she said September 8th. I'll get that back, and I'll get that out to the people I know so that they can attend that meeting if they so choose, or at least watch it on YouTube. But this is going to be a big test for Mayor Ego. This is going to be a big test for Chris Robertson. He is going to have to make a decision because he loves retail. He'll tell you that. He said that before. You know, you can go back and watch a video where he said, you know, his problem was with residential development, not commercial. So, you know, the plan as it stands is to...
He doesn't like residential because of those fines that he gets.
You know, the plan as it stands right now is to commercialize all of Florida Avenue all the way to the lakefront, and then basically the whole front part of the lakefront be commercialized too. And I can tell you, when I campaigned in 2022, because this has been the plan for a while now. This isn't something new. This has been the plan. I was taking this to residents on the lakefront and showing it to them at their doors and telling them this is what they're planning for you. And I will put a stop to it. Or at least I will try. I will try to put a stop to it. You know, and every home on Lakeshore Boulevard had a Tom Lord sign because they knew that I was behind them. And I can tell you that that sentiment that those residents had has not changed. They do not want commercialized retail on that lakefront. So this is going to be a test for him and this city council. Will they amend this comprehensive plan, or are they going to leave it? We'll see. We'll find out.
Well, they're going to lie. You know, they're going to lie, and they're going to say, oh, no, we fought against it when it comes time to campaign, right?
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. I was going to go speak at the county. A good friend of ours who is just an awesome, awesome human being. She sent me a notification that the county was doing something, and I was going to go speak at the county. And it was, of course, about the same stupid crap. They're building, you know, another X amount of thousands of acres that they're going to destroy. And I was going to go speak at the county about it. And, you know, of course, the county tries to limit where you can speak. So they change the time. They make it early. They make it during the workday, and I couldn't make it. And I was just so heartbroken. It's these guys, they have to be held accountable for this. They don't want to hear you. So we have to start doing something. We got to come up with an idea where we can do something, because we can't go speak at the meetings. We have to do something. We need to like air it out on social media. We have to record. We have to fight this stuff, because all we do is see their groupies. We see some people complaining, but then we see their groupies talking about it. We just have to find some effective way where we can cause them political harm, right? Where we put in danger their thing. And it just maybe coordinated efforts on social media, not just everybody doing their own thing, but coordinated efforts where you send this to everybody else, everybody shares it, gets 1,000 views, something. We got to think of something, because these idiots they have to feel the pain of politics.
Absolutely. Absolutely, John. Now, we're also going to talk about the one story that the media didn't pick up. Well, I won't say that.
Surprisingly, right?
The Osceola News Gazette and positively Osceola picked it up. But Channel 6, Channel 9, News 13, Channel 35, they didn't pick this story up, which is amazing to me. But here we go. The St. Cloud mayor tried to fire the city manager at this past city council meeting. Now, he went on a 15-minute rant prior to proposing this termination of the city manager.
What a joke. My God.
Now, we're not going to play the whole 15 minutes, okay? Because that's...
I'd love to, but we're not going to. We're not going to torture you like that.
Yeah, that would stretch out the show too far. But we did cut it up, and we got it down to about 4 minutes. But we're going to, be there commenting along with Mayor Robertson as he speaks here. But
Mayor Ego.
Yeah, this is part of what he had to say, and you keep hearing a lot of the same things over and over again. So this is very interesting. You have to see this. So here we go.
I've never really had a heart-to-heart up here, but I do want to kind of go into a little detail on
what the hell is that? He has a heart. He talks. He wears his heart on his sleeve every meeting.
With the city, I grew up in the city. I live in the city. I love the city.
You know, Mayor Robertson says there he grew up in this city. He loves this city.
He thinks he is the city.
You know, I love the St. Cloud from 20 years ago. You know, the city that I grew up in, I love absolutely. But make no mistake about it, this city is not that city anymore. It's not.
Well, also when it was run by people who acted and voted like they care about the city.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to people who now are just being told what to do.
Yeah. So here we go.
And when we are criticized, when we are vilified, when we are sabotaged. But I can tell you, these walls talk a lot. They talk to me a lot. I talk to a lot of employees.
This guy's going insane.
A lot of employees in this city
you can't handle
are not
the pressure.
happy with what's going on in this city, or the comments that are being made by by the staff regarding council members. A council member here said, you know, let's put a halt to these proclamations, a temporary pause. Let's figure these things out.
This was him avoiding having to come out. All right, and this has been the story all along. This has been the problem all along. You know, he did not want to be a man and come out there and stand against the proclamation. But he knew that he
He clearly doesn't want to be a man. He lives with his mommy.
No, yeah.
And his dad doesn't have any kids, doesn't have a woman. So, yeah, I mean, he certainly doesn't want to be a man.
Yeah, it is awfully strange. A lot of red flags there, John. But this is something that he campaigned on to certain folks, that he would not stand for any proclamation like this. And he's still saying it to people out there. He's making phone calls to certain folks saying that you know, he would stand for this. But they wanted to try and do it behind the scenes, try to sweep it under the rug. He thought that his relationship was strong enough with all 5 council members that they would all go along with it. Obviously, we saw that Fletcher's his passion was more for his lifestyle than it was for what the mayor wanted to do and protecting him from any backlash from conservatives. So he went to the Orlando Sentinel, and the mayor goes on about that. Hold on. But, you know, this is the recurring theme in what the mayor is saying. He keeps saying that he's been criticized. He's been vilified.
And we did it.
What a whiny
and
little
we got vilified. We got trashed by one of our own. And the biggest problem I had with that is that it was out in the media, in our city council, in our city. We work very hard to put a positive message out there, very hard, and based on every decision we have. But our own city did not come to our defense. Our own city.
God, pause it. Oh, wait. Let it run for a minute. I can barely contain it.
Public information department. Our city manager has the authority to defend, has the obligation and the duty to defend this city. And
all right, the city wasn't really
my
under
God.
fire.
Okay, pause it.
It was you, Chris, that were under fire.
Yeah. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. In fact, here's an ethics complaint. I would immediately, if I were that city manager, if I were anybody out there who didn't like this guy, I mean, it's not something that I would do. He's clearly an idiot. He's a joke. He's just a little kid in a man's suit, in a man's chair, playing a man, right? But this guy's whining about the city using funds to protect him politically. He's not talking about the city. The city is agnostic. Yeah. The city's not involved in policy or anything. The city only executes the policies of them. So the city doesn't have like a job that is as policy related. It only executes what they do. Every failure of the city is their responsibility. And if they don't like it, then they fire the lady who's the city manager. That's what the guy's calling for, right? But at the end of the day, her job is absolutely not to protect this fool. That's not the job. There's a whole bunch of resources, he says, and they should have protected, and the duty to protect me. Listen, Chris, Mayor Ego, you are not the city. The city is not Robertson. I mean, get that through your head, because you're going to have a very tough time. And the funniest part about this is the guy destroys himself because of what we're going to talk about in a minute. Let him get to his point. He's crying. He's whining. This is the worst. I wish this guy had joined the military because he would have never survived. Let's hear the rest.
Reputation.
What a wuss. He should not be in the military
I
museum.
say it, but she didn't. And this isn't going to be a lashing. These are just the facts of what we've had to go through.
He hasn't even mentioned the fact yet.
Backlash. I had staff trashing me. I had people on social media. He's wasting taxpayers' dollars. I don't believe it wasted $1. The lights stay on in this building. Maybe the AC gets turned on when we have meetings. But other than that, directors are paid salary. So if directors are here, it doesn't cost us another dime.
All right. So really quick, I believe that he's speaking about us, John, because
it's possible.
We brought up on this show about wasting taxpayer dollars with these special meetings that he had. And he said, it doesn't cost any extra for those directors to be there. No, it doesn't, Chris. But when you're calling a special city council meeting, you have staffers. They have to
prepare for it.
You have the tech guy. These people are coming in on their own time outside of their regular time. And this is not a regularly scheduled council meeting. So yes, it does cost more money to have this city council meetings, these special one that you called. To say that it doesn't cost the directors any extra to be there, they're salaried. Yes, you're correct. You are absolutely correct. The salaried directors, it doesn't cost any extra for them to be there. It's the other people that make that city council meeting happen. They're the ones you're paying extra to be there. And
what a dumb thing to say.
Yeah.
If you don't acknowledge the fact that it costs money to have a city council meeting, this guy, it's like somebody who still lives with their mom in her pocket.
Yeah,
I don't get that. It is ridiculous. This guy's a joke.
To find the truth, to protect taxpayer dollars, it's worth it. And if anybody in this city wants to bash us for protecting taxpayer dollars, I welcome them to come on up to the podium and tell us about it.
All right. So, Chris, no one is going to bash you for protecting taxpayer dollars, but that's not what this was. That's not what this was. It's not what this was. This was covering up for what you were trying to cover up. And that was your reluctance to come out there and stand in front of everyone and say, I'm against this proclamation.
Or for it.
Yeah, or for it. You still haven't done that. And you won't. And I'm curious to see what you're going to do next year, because this is not going to go away. It's going to haunt you every year.
It's going to have twice as many people sitting in that. Yeah, it's going to have twice as many people interested in the answer.
Yeah. So
he's not going to get away from it. This guy's a wuss, is the bottom line. He's a wuss. This is a kid this is a wuss. And this wuss is just can't be a decisive person. He's all ego, no man.
Because I think they're wrong. I think our job is exactly that.
And he's like on the verge of crying the whole time.
When I want to ask a specific employee questions that I know I can get the answers out of, or that's the person who could have the answers, I don't expect backlash or pushback. The entire 2 months that we had,
nobody had any issue with you asking these directors questions, Chris. It was that you had to put it on a public display with a special city council meeting and have these people come in under oath. There was other ways that you could have done that. I talked about that on the other show. The last time we talked about this, like a month or so ago, where, you could have, recorded a conversation where you asked these questions. There was different ways that this could have been done. This was done all wrong.
Getting trashed in the media. We were getting trashed online.
Now, this is the 4th or 5th time that the mayor has talked about getting vilified, getting trashed, being criticized.
It's all about him. It's all about him.
Yeah.
We were having these meetings. I hate to call them investigations, but we had employees up here under oath. Turns out we weren't getting truthful answers. Good gosh, I don't know what I need to do. We put employees under oath and they still don't tell the truth.
All right, so right there,
wow, that's going to be
saying in a nutshell that Antoinette Forbes, the former economic development director, and a former employee who is now a former employee and is suing the city of St. Cloud for defamation and wrongful termination, were lying under oath when they were at that special city council meeting. That's what Mr. Robertson is saying. And, you know, he has one lawsuit now from that one employee that got fired, and he could have another one.
I mean, this guy's a total
me
jackass.
even more, which tells me we have a serious issue throughout this entire building of staff that doesn't tell the truth. I'm not going to go on and on anymore about this, but I with that being said,
this
I
guy's
did
really
inform
crapping
the
on
city
his own
manager
city.
that I was going to make a motion to terminate her contract at this meeting. So I'm going to put that motion on the table.
Now wait. So
Mayor, if I may.
This guy made a motion. Okay, he's saying I'm going to put that motion on the table. So that's a terrible way to say it, but nonetheless, he's putting the motion on the table. That means he's making a motion. Okay. Now, pay attention, because this is kind of the boring stuff of a parliamentary meeting, but he puts the motion on the table. Now, it has to be dealt with. He did it already. He did it. He's the mayor. He's a councilman. He did that already. Go ahead and hit play, Tom.
Under your rules of conduct, if you're going to take formal action on an item, there's a two-step process. You have to have a motion to put the item on the agenda and take a vote for that, and then you have to take the vote on the formal action.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
so hold it. These are rules of conduct. Rules of conduct are not binding. That's not a code. That's not in their charter, as far as I know. Okay, that's not any legislation that they have to adhere to. It's a rule of conduct. It's like saying we have a rule where we're not going to curse at the meetings. That doesn't mean that he cannot do it. So he did do it. It has to be taken care of. But I mean, these guys don't know. So essentially, he's taking it back. They don't address it, but he made the motion. Why is that important? Because he made that motion, if I were the city manager, right, and I know that this guy doesn't like me, he wants to fire me. He already made the motion and it failed because they just leave it. They let it die. He obviously didn't get a second and nobody else came and this guy rebuffed him and whatever. They stepped over it. He can't make the motion again for a year. Let's keep watching.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to add that to the agenda. Take a second. All right, motion dies for a second. All right.
Okay.
So
there's the number 2. I don't know what kind of jackass this guy is striving to be, but he knew that there was not going to be a second. So what is the point? Putting it on the record, calling her out. Now he can't raise it for a year, but he didn't even build a case. He was whining about himself the entire time. Oh, I was being attacked on social media. I was being attacked on the press. And he's making a synonymous equation here. I equals the city. Chris Robertson, Mayor Ego, equals the city, which of course it does not. But apparently in his mind, they are the one and the same. But here he is making a motion. The guy did not make a case against the city manager. He did not say she had any wrongdoing. He did not make one single accusation as far as wrongdoing that I heard in this snippet.
No,
right?
No.
So
I mean, you can go back and watch the whole 15 minutes. I mean,
but he's just more crying.
Yeah,
right?
It's all about how we got trashed, we got criticized. He's referring to the city council. You know, he's trying to talk to them as a whole, but it's him who has the thin skin here, and he's the one that's bothered the most.
Yeah,
by
he cries for 15 minutes, but he never makes a case against the city manager. I mean, that's so dumb. You know you're going to lose. Obviously, there's, whatever. So here he is. The idiot uses, that's the biggest thing that he's got. That's the biggest hammer that he has as a councilman, is firing her. You only have 2 employees. You have her, the city manager, and you have the attorney. No. And so you can fire one of those 2 people, but all the other employees of the city don't respond or answer to him. So what a mistake this is. The guy's clearly an amateur, and he just screwed himself, because he'll never be able, or at least for another year, he won't be able to raise it again. He could have just started building the case, and then when he felt he had built a strong enough case, then you motion for her removal.
Yeah.
This amateur just made himself look like an idiot for no reason.
On this.
And
these are my views on how this city is operating.
All right, so he said his views don't change on this. You look at her sitting there. She doesn't defend herself. She doesn't say a word during this whole ordeal. Now, we'll see if that's the case, John, what you said, that he can't bring this up again for another year.
He can't.
Because I'm questioning whether he couldn't get the second on the motion to add it to the agenda, or if it was for the original motion to terminate her contract. And that's
it's for the second. So that's what failed. He's not allowed to ask to put that item on the agenda for another year.
Well, that's what the attorney was saying. That's what Dan, the attorney man, he was saying that he had to add it to the agenda first before he could make that motion. And
now he can't add it to the agenda.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. But you see Veronica Miller, this is the city manager. She is sitting there, she's just taking it. And she had, the first time he attacked her, which was before that special city council meeting, and during that special city council meeting, she did fight back a little bit, but I don't think she has a lot of fight in her.
No, I think that she was told, don't even argue, because he's not going to win the vote. So don't worry about it. Just sit there. Don't say anything. We're going to placate him. We're going to give him his binky, and don't worry about it. I think that's what they told him. No. The funny thing about this is that you're right. She looks terrible by not defending herself, but she doesn't look anything like this guy. Spoke for 15 minutes and made himself look like a total jerk off. And that is just crazy. So the fact that she didn't say anything, I don't know. It may be a loss or a win. She could have said, hey, you know what? You didn't make a case about me, and it's not my responsibility to protect you. It's my responsibility to run the city. And that's what I'm doing. I'm running the city. Right? Yep. If you think that using our PR team to protect your reputation is how we should be using it, then all 5 of you can easily put it on the agenda and vote on it. And then I will be forced by your vote to use the PR system to promote all of your reputations.
Yeah.
But notwithstanding anything else, I'm going to continue running the city the best way that I can based on your strategic vision. But I mean, it's just a joke. And I there's nothing worse. I think that you know me by now. Even you guys who have watched the show know me by now. I hate whiners. Yeah. I hate whiners and the whiner.
We had a question from Julie. How did he win election? He won election because he's been dying to be the mayor of St. Cloud for a very long time. He has studied. He's been practicing. He ran once before in 2020. Unfortunately, there was COVID going on at that time. He did lose to the prior Mayor Nathan Blackwell, who was no prince at all. And that's just being nice. But and he had a lot of people fooled, even me. I mean, at one point, and John, we thought this man was a friend. And
I thought he was anti-establishment.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
He sold
and
himself
I did
out.
too. And
At the end of the day, he's just pro Chris. You know, he's just like me. I want to get ahead. That's all I want. That's, you know, so I mean, for him, it's all about
the first 6 months after he was elected, we did not attack him.
Yeah.
And you can go back, and watch the show, and you can see the first 6 months that he was in office, we did not attack him. I personally I was hoping that he would do the right thing. I was hoping that things would get better here in St. Cloud, that we would see that turnaround. And maybe I was wrong, and I was going to use my personal bias to influence how we talked about this. But we saw right off the bat that, you know, residential development was still getting, you know, approved. We saw
he sold out before he won.
Yeah, absolutely.
He sold out before he won.
But
we knew that he sold out.
actions that he took once he was in office, John, was, you know, we saw the rates going up at the pool. We saw the rates going up at the boat ramps. We saw residential housing approved over and over again. Then we saw this stuff with the proclamation.
Annexations.
Yep, the annexations. And then we saw this stuff with the proclamation and how he was trying to weasel his way out of it. And it was just, you know, at that point, and it made news, you know, all around Central Florida, we couldn't ignore it anymore. So then we had to talk about it. And then all the actions
out of his mother's womb.
The actions that followed after that, it just showed us that, this is the Chris that we thought he was. Yeah, he proved it to us, and he's going to continue proving it. So,
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you know, everybody knows I can't stand the Brokeback Mountain twins. I can't stand Ricky Booth. I can't stand Brandon Arrington. But I would love it if they changed and proved me wrong. I would give them full credit for that. I'd even let them come on the show and tell me how I'm wrong.
Yep.
All right. It's at the end of the day, we are fair brokers. You prove me wrong. Prove me wrong all day long. I'm happy to be proved wrong because the things that I say about these elected officials are things that I wish were not true at the end of the day. Even if I don't like them. I don't think I'll ever like Brandon Arrington. But if he's a great county commissioner, I would admit it. You know, I would support it.
Yep.
It's just, you know, obviously somebody, but this guy, I hate whiners too. I mean, I just don't know. I mean,
it's just the fact that if you dial into what his 15-minute rant and you dial into it like I did and cut it down, I cut it down to 4 minutes. And honestly, at least 4 or 5 times, all he was talking about is how they were criticized, they were trashed.
Unbearable. You know, it's unbearable to hear a man talk like that.
That's all it was that about how he felt. You know what I mean? And the fact that they were criticized, and it's like,
and without proving a point, there was nothing to it except
the employees in City Hall are talking bad about the city councilman. It's like, I don't know any workplace out there where the staff doesn't talk bad about the boss. All right. Or the bosses or whatever. There's no place,
especially when you're the boss, right?
That is something that, exactly. That is something that Chris knows nothing about because he has never really worked for anyone. You know, I think the only time he worked for anyone was when he worked for City Hall. And we saw how that went.
So well.
Yeah, that didn't go so well. But I mean, this is the reality of life. This is the reality of the way things go. And if you're a great boss, you know, your staff will love you and they won't criticize you. They won't say anything bad about you. But you're always going to have that one.
But if you're a whiny little bee,
they're
gonna go to that water cooler and be like, "Man, did you see that little bee crying over there?"
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, 15 minutes of him crying about himself.
Yeah.
Now I have to write a press release because on UNsanctioned they said that he was a crying little bee, and so now Mayor Ego wants us to write a press release saying Mayor Ego does not cry on the dais.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there, but just fascinating to me, and I know that some people that we know, John, we're actually defending the mayor on this and putting out there that you know, I get it. You know, there is no love lost for Veronica Miller. I
don't even. Yeah. That's not. That's it couldn't be furthest from the truth.
Yeah, we could care less whether Veronica Miller is there or not. All right, or Sean Fletcher, or any of those people. All right. But it's the way you go about it and the way you do it. And I can tell you for a fact, I know that Mayor Robertson, as far as I know, there was no love lost for Veronica Miller either. So
he wanted her out.
Yeah. So, including the person that's suing the city of St. Cloud for defamation and wrongful termination, there was no love lost there either. So, yeah, you know, it's just the way that things went about, and all this. You know, if none of this had happened, if we didn't have these special city council meetings, we didn't do this investigation and all this stuff, I think a lot of this would have gone away on its own. But he compounded the error, and it stayed in the news, and, you know, there it is. I'm actually shocked that the news didn't pick up on this story, but there you have it.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah. All right, John, take us home.
Oh my gosh, man. This is the longest show we've ever had, I think. Right?
Yeah. There was a lot going on in the state of Florida, man. There's
listen,
a lot going on.
As bad as that BSO sheriff is, as bad as all the things that we talked about, there's nothing worse than a man whining. I swear that's just the worst. So sorry about getting long on that. But a man whining just drives me crazy. All right. Well, listen, we love you. We got a whole bunch of people watching the show, ending on a huge number, and we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching. You're people who this state is as important to you as it is to us, and we just appreciate it. We're there with you. Let us know how we can serve you better. Let us know how we can make the show better. Making it shorter might be a great place to start. But we're here. We'll see you next week for a great America show and a great Florida show after that. There's all kinds of stuff going on, and we can't wait to do it for you. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great, great week.
All right. See you next time.
Well, I mean, I was entertained, to be honest.
I think it is rich beyond measure. The fact that a school board member that has tens of millions of dollars of conflict of interest before this board has the courage to come up here and talk about anyone's behavior. If anyone should be ashamed of themselves, sir, it should be you.
Of you being able to speak your mind no matter what. That's how we get, remember when we were kids, right? And you had a problem with somebody, and then your dad would kick you out to go fight with that kid, and then you shake hands, and then you go home, and then you become friends with disgust when they're trying to, take this word and give it meaning that it doesn't have. Our entire country needs to go through a fasting. You see all of these new age hippies, right? They're all constantly fasting. They're doing starvation diets, or they won't eat for this, or what is it called? Like some kind of intermittent fasting.
It's not just us, and not just fans of President Trump, MAGA Republicans. We're not the only